All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of GoBabyTrade. So lots of enhancements. We'll talk about that, Mr. Barsano. We did not touch base with you, but we saw your enhancements along the way. Somebody called it a $1 billion report. We saw your post.
Oh yeah, I posted that last night.
I know you did. We followed. So let me share my screen again. I don't know why it disappeared, but
No, we're seeing it. I'm still seeing it anyway.
oh, you
So
are.
am I.
I am, for some reason, I am not seeing it.
Huh.
That is very odd.
Yeah, you're not
Um,
seeing what's on your own screen, and we're seeing
I'm
it.
not seeing what's on my own screen. That is very odd. So I'm gonna unshare and then reshare. So bear with me just a second. So you can't see it
Yep.
now. All right, very good, very good, very good. So here we go. All right, can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes, it's coming
Yes.
up. Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna try and make it a little bit bigger so that everybody can see the presentation. There we go. There we go. Your expectations for tonight are about a 45-minute, which I know people are laughing on the other end. That about a 45-minute overview and presentation, introduction of who we are and why we're here, and why we're here to serve you. We are here 100% to serve you. We've got some nuggets of information and value as the decentralized crypto market evolves. Right. Most of you, if you're watching the news, you saw that the US Senate passed the Genius Bill. Yes, it has to go to the House and has to go to the president, but we are well on our way to mass retail adoption. So pay close attention. So followed by the overview, there'll be about a 45-minute to an hour Q&A, depending on Mr. Barsano's responses. So we're going to talk about the $1 billion report, which if you did not see Mr. Barsano's GoBabyTrade post, there have been some enhancements. You're going to be able to take advantage of this $1 billion report, which shows you the highest trades, highest profitable trades in the crypto market on all coins that are listed on Coinbase and Kraken. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can employ it. It's a great report. It's literally a $1 billion report, but you can't really take advantage of it unless you employ the GoBabyTrade trader, which we'll talk about it a little bit as well. You'll see a live report. If prompted, then I will show you an experiment that I created based on the $1 billion report. Used to be the $1 million report, but based on inflation and value of what you're going to see, it's now $1 billion. So you'll understand what it's like to be able to make money in your sleep. And people comment, not necessarily positive in some cases, on our presentations about what this means to everybody about being able to make money in your sleep. I know it sounds odd, and but you're going to hear it from all three of us. It literally is a system that allows you to make money completely unattended based on eating the volatility in the market. And if you haven't been watching the market, then shame on you. If you've been watching the market, you realize how volatile it is. There is nothing else in the marketplace other than GoBabyTrade that automatically trades for you. Automatically. I mean, no watching screens, no checking accounts, no making manual trades, literally 100%, 24/7. I always say 366 because every 4 years it doesn't take leap year, the 29th of February off. You'll also get a chance to understand why it is the only system in the world that allows you to do that. It doesn't require you, right? There's and my good friend Attila is going to be able to talk to the points of the types of people that are in the market. But I'll mention this. So go look this up. Google how many. This is just a U.S. statistic of how many people in the U.S. are involved in some way, actually involved, meaning investing in or using decentralized finance in crypto. Stunning number. Only 17% of the marketplace of sorry, not even the marketplace, of US population, not mentioning, if you go outside the US into Europe and the rest of the world, probably the percentage comes down, but 17%, only 17% are somehow involved in using decentralized finance and cryptocurrency. Let me tell you why that's a stunning number. That means we haven't even touched on retail adoption. When this goes into retail adoption, I mentioned a second ago about the Senate passing the Genius Bill. The Genius Bill is now going to the House of Representatives and then to the president's desk. That is I believe, just my opinion, I believe that is one of the triggers that is going to put us into retail adoption in this marketplace.
Can I
Outside
add
of the-
something there? Do you
Yes,
mind
of
if
course.
I add something about that bill?
No, go right ahead.
The market's been dropping for the last couple of months. Literally, the coin prices have got cut in half in value. Now, the robotic traders took advantage of that. We're buying more as it's going down. We're loading up like crazy, just like the wealthy are. They're buying like crazy at these low prices. Millions of other people are panicking because the market's going down, even though there's no negative news in the crypto market, and they're selling at a loss, which is insanity. So the wealthy and GoBabyTrade traders are loading up at these beautiful prices at the bottom. Watch when this market rockets. Watch when that bill passes and all these prices start going back up. We're going to make a fortune. I know I'm going to get rich.
Yeah, thanks. Me too.
I'm going to get
Richer.
richer.
And anybody else that's in the marketplace, absolutely, positively. Thanks for that comment. You're absolutely right. Hold on to your hat. Anybody without the use of this trader, I don't believe truly can take advantage of the whipsaw volatility in this market. And you're right. The market, I believe, is being manipulated and pushed down. But the only ones that can take advantage of this are those that employ the trader. So with that, apologize, I elongated my introduction. You don't need any skills. If you want to automate part of your financial life, give this a very, very close look, right? As I mentioned, and I never like to mention things that are negative, but folks want to be anybody that hears good news and doesn't believe it wants to suppress it. So don't believe that. Anybody that owns this trader, as a matter of fact, let me reposition that. The only people that speak against negative or somehow negative commenting on who we are and what we do and what Mr. Barsano has created are those that actually do not employ and own the technology. So take a close look. There is nothing else in the marketplace. As a matter of fact, Mr. Barsano, I'll say this before I turn it over to my business partner, Attila, is that I saw that somebody had made a comment that in 3.5 months, they only made 17.5%. Only 17.5% annualized is close to 80% annualized. I don't know how anybody could scoff at that, but nevertheless,
in a down market, 3 months, 3 months.
In not even a sideways market, but a down market, you're making annualized almost 80% of your money. So I don't get where people's heads are. Last thing I'll draw your attention to is the red disclaimer. We're not here to do anything other than provide you value and information and education only. Nothing that we share with you today is intended or should be considered to be financial advice, legal advice, tax advice, and no guarantees of return of performance are promised. Now, we may touch on Mr. Barsano's expertise in marital advice, but we'll try and keep it on track. So with that, let me stop sharing. Sorry, Ed. What was that? Uh-oh. We may have lost Mr. Barsano here momentarily. So, but with that, yeah, please let me.
Oh,
there
sorry.
you go.
I
worries.
accidentally hit the video instead of the audio.
No worries. So my good friend and business partner, Attila Hevesi, has been in this marketplace, is one of the thought leaders of how to position yourself for success in the decentralized marketplace, as well as our good friend, Mr. Barsano, which Mr. Hevesi will introduce. So with that, thank you for the for the elongated introduction. And Mr. Hevesy, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Edward. Good job. Everybody, welcome today. I'm going to give you a little synopsis of my background, and then I'll talk about how I met Ed Barsano in 2012. And as a result, everybody is here on this Zoom today. It's a pretty interesting story. It takes a couple wild twists and turns, but basically my background is financial. I've been in the world of financial services. That's in TradFi, by the way, traditional finance, most of my life. 5 years ago, September 2020, best move I ever made is to realize that I totally missed the internet revolution. And I saw that this digital money revolution with blockchain, decentralized finance, AI, NFTs, crypto, it's really the future. I saw that the train has left the station, and I figured if the movement of information, which is the internet, changed the world as much as it did, that's going to pale in comparison to the movement of money globally on the internet, by the way, which is the digital money revolution. And they're both disruptive technologies, except this one is the biggest disruption in the history of the world. And the reason for that is, what is it disrupting? It's disrupting the entire global financial system. It's disrupting money. That's never been done in hundreds of years, it's never been done. So really, we're in a pretty place. And just a little adjustment to what Edward said earlier, I do believe that the bigger effect of the Stablecoin Genius Act being approved and passing in the Senate will be institutional adoption, because what stablecoins provide is the liquidity. The liquidity is what everybody that's in with the institutions are looking for, liquidity. And that's what stablecoins are going to bring. And then eventually the retail investors will come in. But by then, for most of them, it'll be way too late, because the big money will have, it's still early, but nothing compared to people that started 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Anyway, so how did I meet Mr. Barsano? Well, let's go back. First of all, his background's interesting. After high school, he went in the Navy. He learned how to program in the Navy. And then after the Navy, I don't know exactly how many years later, but he ended up being hired by Bill Gates at Microsoft as one of the first 350 people to work there as a programmer. And he did extremely well, led a lot of projects, and retired a pretty young guy at age 39 in 1995, I believe.
Hey, don't age me. I'm only 39 right now.
Well, you look pretty old for 39. Anyway.
I had a hard life.
Yeah. But so then what happened was he got his butt kicked quite a bit in the 2000 stock market crash. He was involved in the stock market, and he took a look and he said, well, this is obviously rigged against the average person. They've picked on the wrong guy. I'm going to level the playing field. So what did he do? He developed the world's very first, think about it, folks, this is 25 years ago. It's amazing now, but 25 years ago was even more amazing. So he developed the world's first fully robotic autonomous stock market trader. So listen to this. This is how it worked. After about 60 to 90 minutes of downloading the software, making a few adjustments, it was a bit tedious, cumbersome, I call it. But once you had it set up, this thing turned itself on at Monday morning, about 9:30 before the stock market opened, traded for you all day long, just taking profits, buying more stocks at more symbols that you put into the trader at a lower price. And then at the end of the day, at 4 p.m., shut itself off, 100% unattended, meaning you could be in another country and not even be paying attention to it. And this is doing it on its own. That's never been seen before.
Or flying on an airplane.
That's right. And we did do that back in the day. So I was introduced to Ed in 2012. Imagine 12 years after he developed this, a friend of mine, a mutual friend, introduced me to Ed and said, hey, Attila, he asked me a question. He said, how would you like to automatically set it and forget it, trade the stock market? And I said, what do you mean? And he basically described to me what I just described to all of you. And I said, boy, that's right up my alley, because I'm a non-technical person. I'm a big picture guy. I don't have the patience to be in front of a screen all day or even 1 or 2 hours a day. That's not my shtick. It's just I'm busy and I'm not technical. But I knew there was a lot of money to be made in trading stocks. So I said, tell me more. So he told me what Ed was doing. I met Ed and I bought the trader. I set it up and I used it. I mean, it was amazing. It was really amazing. In fact, I even helped to market it a little bit through a marketing company back then that he was associated with, but then he basically fired those guys and went back to being solo. And in 2019, Ed Barsano sold out the concept of what he had developed in 2000 to a hedge fund who had previously, they bought a lot of licenses from him before that. So anyway, now it's 2019-ish, and a few people are approaching Ed Barsano about doing a trader for the crypto market. And at first he was too busy, but then he said, you know what? I see that there's a lot of volatility here. Let me put this together. So we did. In April of 2021, he launched the first robotic trader, fully autonomous with AI for crypto. And as soon as he turned it on, he said, boy, oh boy, I'm never going back to stocks. It was that different. It was, stocks have been around over 100 years. They're boring. They don't go up and down like crazy like crypto does. So anyway, the bottom line is this is where the story shifts a little bit. So March of 2024, I was having a rough day at the office and I said to myself, man, oh man, I got a good crypto portfolio, but I love cash flow. I believe cash flow is king, not cash, but cash flow is king. And how do I make more crypto on my crypto, or how do I multiply it exponentially? And I'm sitting there and it took me one full day, but it finally hit me a day later. I'm like, oh my gosh, my good friend Ed Barsano, I'll bet my life on the fact somewhere along the line in the last 3 to 5 years, he's developed a robotic trader for crypto. I called him. I still had his number on my phone, tracked him down. We spoke for 3 hours and he confirmed my hunch. He said, I did do what you're telling me you're hoping I did. And I said, yeah, that's great. And then he said, but Attila, as soon as I turned this thing on, I said, this is light years ahead of the stock market. And here are 4 compelling reasons why. Now, folks, listen carefully because this is the nitty gritty. Number one, he said, Attila, you know as well as I do, no matter what asset classes you're trading, stocks, precious metals, Forex, crypto, you gotta have a lot of volatility. And there's no asset class on planet Earth with more volatility than crypto. I said, Ed, you're dead on. Number 2 thing he said was, what was number 2? Gosh. Okay. So he said, you know what I did? He said, I created an API connection to your own Coinbase or Kraken account so that only you control your money. Now, out of the 4 things he told me, this was the most impactful for me. And here's why. I'm embarrassed to say, in the last 4.5, 5 years, I've lost over $100,000 in various blockchain, crypto, cash flow projects. Now, obviously, I've made more than that, but the point of the matter is this. It's not fun to lose that kind of money, but why did I lose it? Because the crypto I sent to those projects was not controlled by me. It was controlled by a third-party exchange or wallet. When things went south with those projects, I couldn't get to my crypto. So this was a game changer for me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the best news I've heard today. The other thing you said, the big advantage here is the stock market trades 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. And the last thing he said was, it's not downloadable software anymore. I said, come again? He said, yeah, I made it web-based. I said, how does that look? He says, well, I could have you trading live in 8 to 10 minutes. I said, get out of here. I almost didn't believe him, but I said, let me buy the trader. I bought the license on the spot and went live with just under $10,000 in under 10 minutes. I think it was like 8 or 9. I'll tell you, folks, I was really flabbergasted because I remember the old days in 2012. It was cumbersome back then, 90 minutes, and that wasn't fun. So I said, Ed, we gotta bring this out to the world and share this with the world because crypto is it's still early, and people need to know about this. People need to know there's literally a way to make money while you sleep. Warren Buffett said it. You know, he said, look, if you're not making money while you sleep, you're going to work till you die. I believe that's true. You could only physically work so hard and put enough elbow grease into physically working. You got to have your money multiplying on itself. So yeah, the analogy I use is your money's unemployed. You have to give your money a job. What's your money's job? What's your job? And what's your responsibility to tell your money to do? You got to tell your money, go get a job, employ yourself, and multiply yourself. And there's no better way I know of doing that than with this trader. First of all, it's got a 25-year track record. Second of all, you could do stocks or crypto. Most people do crypto because of the massive volatility. And we've got an absolute genius with 50 plus years of programming experience at our disposal. If there's any issues, I could pick up the phone and call this man. You can't do that with any other company. You can't do it, okay? So all I ask everybody before I hand it over to Edward again to show you guys something really interesting is remember two things as we go through this. Number one, when we say set it and forget it, it truly, literally is set it and forget it. You could be on the other side of the world with no internet, and you buy the license and you go live, and it's trading on its own for you, on your behalf. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to what's the word I'm looking for? Interface with anything. I mean, you don't have to do anything. It's literally set it and forget it. The second thing I'd like everybody to make sure you keep at the forefront of your mind is think about what Mr. Barsano created here. It's pretty unique and different for the world. He created for the world something that does not exist. He created a way for anybody, like literally anybody, not the uber wealthy, but anybody. You don't have to be an accredited investor. You don't have to know anything about crypto. You don't have to know anything about trading. You barely need to know anything about the computer. And without all that, you can make money in your sleep using this platform. That's remarkable. Okay. So, and I've been bugging Mr. Barsano for years that this is way, way too inexpensive at $44.95.
Yeah, I'm gonna raise the price to 10,000 for 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I think that's smart. At least 99.98, something like that, you know?
I'm not
But
gonna do
anyway,
that.
we did get a special pricing. Obviously, everybody knows that for Crypto Casey of $1,000 off. Edward is going to put that link in the chat along with the 2 support emails. One of them comes directly to us for general questions, and if it's a real technical question, it could go to GoBabyTrade directly. So look for that in the chat. But Edward, before you post that, why don't you pull up your simulation trader that you have, because you've got a live one and you got a simulation one. And about just under 3 months ago, you changed your strategy as far as which coins. Can you explain what you did real briefly and show people? Because these results are just insane, what's happened to you in less than 3 months on a $100,000 paper trading account. Go.
Indeed. So everybody knows. If you don't, then here's news. The market in the last 3 months has been sideways or down. As Mr. Barsano talked about, in most cases, down 50%. So what I did was I referred to in the overview of the 50,000 or the $1 billion report that is really good information and you can educate yourself with it, but it does you little or no good unless you actually employ it with the trader. And why do I say that? The reason why I say that is that the trader, if you don't know anything about it, and you'll see it and we'll explain it. But the bottom line is it trades on a millisecond basis. It trades faster than you can think or anybody else can think with pushing. Ed, are we pushing? I didn't do anything. Sorry, you and your team. Are you pushing about 3 million lines of code?
Well, millions. I don't, I quit counting at 2.5 million a few years ago.
Right, so millions and millions of lives of code.
Doesn't
But the point
matter
being,
anymore to me how many
it does,
lives it is.
no, it literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter in that you cannot outthink this. What has been created, and I always joke, and I'm a big old-time Star Trek fan, is that I liken this to the Borg, the central network of the Borg, and every trader that's out in the marketplace is feeding the data to this. And Mr. Barsano will touch on a more detailed basis, but literally a closed network. People often ask, is it open source? So absolutely not. And you better thank your lucky stars that it's not, because
You wouldn't, forget that.
yeah, you wouldn't be able to use it anyway. And when we talk about the details of it is enhanced with AI agents, you hear about AI, this and that and the other, but we're going to get into detail about that. You're going to be blown away if you've not heard the story. Even if you've heard the story, there's some things that are going to resonate with you, particularly as the market heats up and we move, as Mr. Attila said, into the institutional adoption and then into the retail adoption, which I totally 100% agree. If you wait to be in that third category, you're not in a good place. However, the good news is that if you own a trader, from now until your children's children pass, you're going to be able to take advantage of it. So there is no problem there. With that, let me share something. What I did was I took the $1 billion report, which we'll touch on, and I will not 100% steal your thunder, Mr. Barsano, but I am going to, because I am so impressed with what you just did in the last week or so. So I'm only going to point to it. So this is the $1 billion report, which is a recordation on a daily basis of years, in this case, a year's trading closed. All of these represent closed profitable trades. I'll mention this now and it'll be mentioned again, is that this trader is programmed on purpose to never sell at a loss. It collects inventory when the market goes down, when the market spikes up, and anybody that's been watching the crypto market knows how volatile. It could be down 30% over the last 3 weeks and then 100% in 1 or 2 days. And we'll give some examples of that. But the enhancements, and Mr. Barsano can go into in detail, not only does it show the highest trade value, but you see that's now hyperlinked. You can click on it. I won't do it. I'll let Mr. Barsano do it. It will take you to even more research, right?
You can do it. It's okay.
Then the next, all right, well, I'll click on one. It literally helps you go into understanding what the project is. That is amazing. Talk about doing your own, what do you call it, Attila? DYOR,
do your own research. Yeah.
DYO, do your own research. So here's another enhancement. It doesn't cost anybody that owns the trader. Didn't have to pay for the enhancements. Ed and his team are constantly working in the background to constantly add value to this trader, as if it isn't valuable enough, right? The second type, the second column is a type. It tells you whether it's a meme coin, a utility, or if it happens to be unknown, it'll come up as unknown. But you can scroll through it. You can sort it by type, by currency. An amazing report. Here's the problem: if you don't have the trader, pretty much does no good. But it will allow you to do your own research, which will point to a couple of places where you can do your own research before or if you decide to employ the trader. And we'll go from there. So with that, let me go to, hold on, let me clear the screen and then reshare. I'm going to go to my trader and I'm going to show you the simulation. Sorry, I'm back on the same screen, but let me just go to the trader. All right. It's a turn positive. All right, so let me draw your attention to this simulation was started on March 25th. So in another week, it'll be 3 months. So in under 3 months, I started the simulation with $100,000. It is generated profits in pocket, can't be taken away, almost $25,000. $25,000 representing 25% in a matter of 3 months in a, dare I say, shitty market. There's no other way to put it. It's not even sideways. Things have been drifting on the downside. I don't understand, other than what I know and what Mr. Barsano will talk about, is this market's being manipulated. It's being forced down so that the big money can rush in, take advantage of everybody else's panic, buy all the inventory, and wait for it to skyrocket. So hold on. Put your 6-point, what do I say, 6-point seatbelt on and get ready for the ride. But don't be a buy and holder. Be a trader and use this trader. So with that,
well, look at Ondo. Look at what you have there, since it's on the screen right now. Take a minute.
Yep.
In the filled orders, it shows Ondo was closed today at 1:34 a.m. for that $44 of profit, and then 5 hours later, it bought it right back 2 cents lower at 74 cents after it sold it at 76 cents, and it just bought it back. That's what the market does. It's just going up and down, and we're just taking all this free money.
By the way, I wasn't awake for either one of those trades.
Yep. That's what I mean about making money in your sleep.
Indeed. Indeed. In this entire simulation and in my live account, not one time have I gone in and had to physically trade anything. That's not looking at 20 screens. It's not being chained to my desk. It literally is a set it and forget it system. If you don't believe it, as I said again, the only people that point fingers at us are the ones that don't own the trader. And I'll actually, when we go into the Q&A, there's a couple of very positive comments unsolicited from people that are brand new owners of the trader. So with that, I'm going to stop.
Look at WIF. Look at WIF right under the Ondo. Even yesterday, it did the same thing. It sold WIF at just about 80 cents. And then 3 hours later, it bought it back for 77 cents at a lower price. So you just locked in that free money. So it went down, back up, took the free money, and then it went back down again. It's like, thanks.
I think you've just created a new T-shirt. We're gonna have to print one with your face and name on it called "Free Money."
Free money.
No, right. It's just free money.
It's just free money.
Yeah.
So with that,
okay,
let me turn it back over to.
I think we're on the pace to do 3.5 hours today at this rate.
No, we're not, and that's only because I've taken it longer than necessary.
Yeah. Anyway, let me get to introducing Ed Barsano, because we do need to get to him. And the reason we invite him on here is because of this. The most common questions we get, and you all always have good questions to add. But Ed, thanks for coming on again, as you do every Wednesday. We appreciate it.
It's always my pleasure.
And let me start with the first most common question, and that is about the AI. And you've got a robotic autonomous trader with AI versus what we hear out there in the last 1 or 2 years, commonly referred to as an AI bot, an AI trading bot, a crypto AI trading bot. And it's that term is thrown around so loosely out there. So how do you explain the differentiation between your robotic autonomous trader with AI versus these so-called AI bots that are coming on the scene in the last 1 or 2 years?
Okay. All right. There's many ways I can answer this one. AI, because like everyone knows, I've been doing AI since '89, since my Microsoft days. So it's built into my DNA by now. And AI isn't what people think it is. Okay. I mean, I watched that movie Ex Machina. Some of you probably know what that is. Google it. Or not Google it. Go to your TV and say Ex Machina, and it'll take you right to the movie. You can buy it for $12 or watch it for $3. And that is AI. That when you're talking about AI, that's what everyone pictures. A robot, an android, with a sentient AI. But that's not what AI is when it comes to robotic trading. So everyone's got this wrong image of what AI is. AI in robotic trading is pattern recognition. It's saying, I've seen this pattern. I've got in our case, we have 27 indicators, all the technical right from the technical analysis from A to Z book. You can go to eBay. Anybody can go to eBay, type in technical analysis from A to Z, and you'll get a book by maybe 1/4 inch thick, maybe a 1/2 inch. And you can buy that, you know, and you can look at all the indicators and you see when the indicator is this, it's bullish, and when the indicator is that, it's bearish, that kind of thing. So the AI is where all 27 of those indicators are pushed to the AI. Let the AI deal with all that pattern recognition. Now, AI cannot tell you what a coin's going to do tomorrow. It can only look at the environment as it is right now. What is Bitcoin doing right now? What is the market doing? How many coins are actually higher than lower? How many of those technical indicators are bullish right at this instant in time versus bearish? That kind of stuff for each symbol. So that's all handled by the AI, and it does a wonderful job. But the AI in our system, the trader, when I say we, as Attila didn't mention today, when I say we and all that, I'm talking about the trader itself. It's not you. I'm not doing anything. You're not doing anything. The trader's doing it all. So when it's ready to make a trade, the software made the buy and sell decision. It said, I'm ready to buy that coin now. The software decided how much to trade, how much money to put into this trade, how much profits to take, when to take it, all of that stuff, all the money management, so to make sure you can trade it indefinitely, no matter where the coin goes. I don't care if it drops 90%, and we'll go into that. You're still in the game. But the AI, so when the auto trader says it's time to buy now, the coin has dropped. This is my smart water prop. When you go in, say you bought a coin here, and then it dropped 3% based on the default settings. It dropped 3%. The software says, I want to buy more now at this lower price. At that time, the software could say, I'm going to go ahead and do it, and just do it. However, it calls the AI, which is really separate from the trader. The star of the dish is the trader. The AI is a nice add-on, that's all. It's a bell and a whistle, in my opinion. Trader would work fine without it, because when it dropped 3%, what would the trader do? It would go ahead and buy more. Without the AI, I don't need the AI. But the AI, it'll call the AI and say, hey, AI, what do you think? Does it look like it's going to go lower? If the AI says, I think it's going to go lower in the next few minutes, it can't tell me what it's going to do tomorrow or even an hour from now. But it could say, well, based on what's going on right now in the market, I've seen this pattern 10,000 times. And I'm going to tell you, I'm 98% sure it's going to go lower in the next few minutes. So the software will hold off on buying. It'll let the price go down a little, but it'll keep calling the AI until the AI says, I don't see it going lower. Then the software will go ahead and do the buy. Same thing on the profit side, a separate AI. When you bought it already, just like you saw in Edwards Trader, it saw one of those, I don't remember which 2 coins they were, but the price had gone up at least 3% from its last when it bought it, and the software said, I want to sell this coin now and lock in the profit. Then it calls the AI and says, AI, do you think it's going to go higher in the next few minutes? If it's going to go higher, if the AI says it's going to go higher, then the software will go ahead and wait and let it go. But it'll keep calling the AI, and the AI will keep saying, I think it's going to go higher. I think it's going to go higher. And the software will just keep calling it and asking. And the AI is just running over there, doing all of its math and saying, I still think it's going higher. Still think it's going higher. The software wanted to take 3% profit, but next thing you know, the price is all the way up 9%. And then finally it calls the AI, and the AI says, no, I don't see it going higher. Boom, the software goes ahead and puts that buy order or that sell order in and locks in that profit. So the AI is just an add-on. It's a nice little add-on. Remember, I've been doing stocks for 25 years, since 2000, since the market crash of 2000, when I got hammered and I said, you picked on the wrong guy, baby, I'm going to hurt you. You know, I don't know who you is, but I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to automate this market. I'm going to show you that this is just numbers going up and down. You know, and I'm going to give it to everybody. You know, my original auto trader, by the way, I gave it away to thousands of people for free. Just take it and use it. I just gave it away. Even TD Ameritrade called in 2006 and said, will you connect our traders to that? I just gave it to, I mean, I think I got 5,000 new subscribers in one day when I did that. You know, but then the problem is when you're giving it away free, You got all these expenses now, you know, all the servers and the resources and the 40 support people. So then I had to start charging. That's not my mission to charge anybody. We're all in this together. We're going to conquer this market. We are taking back our market. The wealthy have taken it over the last 40 years. And I said, enough is enough. We, the people, are stepping up. We're taking our, you want to raise those prices or you want to jerk with those prices and go up and down? Well, fine, pay me. I'm just a toll booth. That's all you are, is a toll booth. They want to move through your toll booth, pay me. You want to go up, give me money. You want to go down, I'll buy more now and lock the price in down here. Now what are you going to do? You want to keep going lower? I'll buy more. I'll keep buying more all the way down to the bottom. Where do you want to go? But each time I do that, remember, don't feel bad when the prices are going down. I know I'm deviating a little bit, but don't feel bad when the prices are going down, because they're going down for everybody, not just you. You're not alone. Millions of people out there are freaking out, man, when those prices go down. The coin prices literally got cut in half. We talk about what Edward was saying, the market dropped in the last few months. I'm talking about a 5-cent coin went down to 2 cents. That's a huge major crash. If it was like the stock market, you'd call that a crash. If Microsoft went from 400 to 200 in a month, they would call that a major crash. That would be all over the news. In the crypto market, that's just routine business. It's okay. But the auto trader takes advantage of those crashes. Other people, all these buy and holders, the coin price drops in half and they own it up here, but the price is all the way down here. So they're kind of dead until it goes all the way back. They're not, until that 5-cent coin goes back from 2 cents back up to 5 cents, they're just dead. And they're missing thousands of trades that's going on down there, up and down, up and down, up and down. But the auto trader took advantage of those crashes and loaded up and bought a lot of shares on the way down that we're going to sell off as it wiggles around and crosses our thresholds. But again, we're talking about AI. When I was saying is, I put AI in the stock traders 25 years ago. Nobody ever had AI in, nobody even ever automated the stock market, and except my traders. And there was, nobody ever had AI or an auto trader. And then all of a sudden we come out with this crypto market a few years ago, all these crypto bots, and now everybody's got an auto trader, which isn't real, it's all fake. And then they're even saying they have an AI trader, and I'm like, now I know it's fake because I know what it takes. Man, I don't know if those guys, because I know the magnitude of programming, and I know the racks of servers that that I have that are just dealing with just the AI, crunching numbers 24/7. Every robotic trader feeds the AI every minute. I mean, think about that alone. That alone. Each one of your auto traders is an executable running on those servers, and in your auto trader is just is one executable all by itself doing its thing. And it's feeding data every minute to the AI saying, this is what my world looks like. And another auto trader, this is what my world looks like. And it's feeding the AI. The AI takes that data and it's crunching those numbers. The AI is running 24/7, training itself, getting literally smarter and smarter by the day for 25 years. So if you
Wow.
created an AI trader last year, your AI trader doesn't even know what anything is. It can't tell you what 2 and 2 is. It's like a 1-year-old. It doesn't, the fact is, it doesn't know what it doesn't know because it hasn't seen the last 24 years of data. And where are they getting their data? OpenAI? Are they getting that from Microsoft and all these, ChatGPT? Garbage. That's ChatGPT. I'm not putting that down. That's a really great tool. I use it sometimes. I actually use ChatGPT to get those websites for all the indicators. I used ChatGPT, gave me all the answers. I said, give me the websites for all these indicators. And I gave it the indicators and it gave me a nice spreadsheet back. How cool was that? I was amazed. Josette came up with that. I told Josette, I'm going to do research on each coin and figure out what to get their website and put it in there so it's easy to just to click on it and go to their website so people don't have to search anymore. And she said, oh, you can do that with ChatGPT. She's so smart. She's also a lawyer.
Brilliant.
So she is
Brilliant.
smart. But yeah, she
Awesome,
helps a
Ed.
lot.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is they they don't know what they don't know. It's like a 25-year-old competing with a 1-year-old. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't believe in any of those AI traders out there. They don't trade the way we do because we do the opposite. Like Edward always says, I turn the market upside down. We trade opposite of what everybody does. When everybody else is bailing out, selling at a loss, and making all the wrong trades, all the wrong manual stuff that they're doing, the auto trader is just so precise. So
Yep.
precise. So when you're changing settings, by the way, don't just change numbers randomly, because the auto trader's reacting to that. It's trading based on those settings, even though they look like minor. Something today, and if you're online, sir, don't worry, I'm not going to tell him your name. But you know, he changed the max lots in a trade from 2 to a day in a crashing market to 100. I said, well, all you're
Oh,
doing is telling the auto trader to just throw all your money in a crashing market. Why not tell it to stop after 2 buys on the way down and wait till tomorrow? If the market wants to drop 19% more, tomorrow after midnight, you could buy again 19% lower. Why do you feel like you need to throw all your money in one big down day? You know? So I told him, put that setting back. And then his response was, I'll be honest, and I get this all the time. People say stuff like this. He said, well, how come you're allowing me to put 100 in there if it's not a good idea to put 100 in there? I'm not your investment advisor. Do what you want to do. But I did give you the defaults, and I can tell you folks, 99% of the clients do not touch the settings.
yeah.
Now, unless I saw he's recommended to him, I said, why don't you just run it with the default settings for a while until you understand it and watch it run, and then strategically change a setting here and there where you feel like you understand what it is you're changing. Don't just go down there and change all the settings. That's insanity.
Yeah, if it's really, I mean, the only reason why somebody should be changing the settings if you're a masochist, okay? If
You
you
know,
want
unless you know why
to,
you're changing them, I'm okay with that. I mean, you can
yeah,
change the settings, it's okay, but know
yeah,
why you're changing them at least.
yeah, most people don't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They think they're smart. They're trying to outsmart over almost 2.7 to 2.9 million lines of code. That's never going to happen. The reason you put the settings the way you put them, Ed, is because in your first trader, when I met you, you had over 10 screens of settings, 10 ways, like you say, over 10 ways that people can blow themselves up. And the best thing anybody that's on this Zoom can do right now, trust me on this one, is never touch those settings.
I
If
know, you're
you,
better off.
yeah, you're better off. Yeah. So
Unless you
anyway,
know what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. Now, I'm going to tell you why people change the settings. I might as well throw this out there because I know what they're thinking right off. And somebody said it, I wrote it here in my notes. You know, how come I happen to see it go by in the chat on the screen? I don't really stare at the chat all day, but I did notice that it popped up. Somebody wrote, he said, oh, he said it about you, maybe Edward's strategy. He's still holding. Here it is, right here. It's at the bottom of my notes. See, I wrote it right here. I wrote it down when while I heard it go by. Still holding 60% cash. Why? That was a question. Why am I holding 60% cash? Because if you're not holding any cash and you go all in, now you have, say you buy take all your money and you buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever you buy. You just throw all your money in at once. Now you're broke, right? You're in that coin. The coin drops all the way down 50% like it did in the last couple months. You're dead in the water. You're holding it up here. You have no money to trade down here. So while the coin price is going up and down, up and down, up and down like this, you're not making a dime because you have to go all the way back up to the top before you're back, before you can even get back to where you were even. With us, you're buying and selling down here in perpetuity. I started trading ACH, Alchemy Pay, 3 years ago at 12 cents a share. It's currently at 2 cents a share, all the way down here. I've made a fortune while it was dropping because I've traded it thousands of times. Net profit wise, I'm way up here. I'm way out of it. I'm way past that 12 cents a share. It can still be at 2 cents. I don't care. It can stay down here and just keep wiggling like this. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell for the rest of my life. I'm fine with that. Keep doing it. I'm happy. I don't feel like it ever has to go back to 12 cents. However, the buy and holders from 3 years ago that put all their money in at 12 cents, they got to be jumping out of a window by now. They haven't made a dime in 3 years. You got to get an auto trader, man. It's the only common sense thing to do.
Well,
So did
and
I
people
answer
would
the
be
AI
blown
question anyways?
if
Sorry, Edward.
No. I was just gonna, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
No, I'm
People
cutting
are
it. It's all right. I
people
need
are
to
going to
cut
be
me off.
blown. People will be blown away when they actually see your trader that has been working since you released this back in 2021. And even when the most difficult thing for me to wrap my head around is when you explain your trader how much you started with, how much profit it's taken, and how much the market has dropped. Right? I used to say 80% drop since you started this trader. It's over 90%, 90% plus. But when people see your trader for the first time, and even if it's for the 101st time for our friends that have returned, it is just mind-boggling. It doesn't matter where the price goes. You just keep taking, what is your quote? Free money.
Yep.
Yeah, but with that, let me do this. Let's get to the second question. We got to move along. Ed, the biggest misunderstanding we have out there are people that put in X amount of dollars when they go live, whether it's 2,000, 20,000, 100,000, and they don't understand why the trader is not pulling in all that money. And there's a method to your madness. It makes sense. Now it's utilizing that number of USDC or USD that it has in Coinbase, and it knows what it is, and it uses that knowledge to make decisions. But technically speaking, all those funds are not going into trades right away. Can you explain why, what that looks like?
Well, it's like I said, it's reserving money so that it can trade in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in perpetuity, it's such a tiny little word that says so much. If you think about it, in perpetuity means forever,
Mm-hmm.
literally forever. And that's so huge. That's like endless space. I mean, it's just beyond, any of our brains can't comprehend that, really. At least my brain can't. If you can, please explain it to me. It ticks me off that we can't go there. But in perpetuity means forever. There's no system and there's nothing in existence that does something like that. It just trades forever, no matter where the price goes. And that's why the money management, or as Edward, you called it last week, you called it risk management. Yeah, it's money management slash risk management.
Right.
So the software is not like any other trading system that you might think that is out there where you're doing all these things and you're figuring it out. And that's one of the problems that probably when you first get your auto trader, you're thinking that in your mind, you're thinking, I want more money in there. I want it using more. See, you're trying to take over what the job of the money management system that's got thousands of lines of code is doing. The software is doing the math. The software says this is the sweet spot. This is how much you should be investing at this instant in time on that coin right now. You don't tell it that. If you were to tell it that, it wouldn't be as efficient as it is. You would end up using all your money up here, and the price of the coin would be all the way down here, and you'd have this big no man's land, this big gap between your last buy and the current price. So then when the price is going up, you're not selling anything. And when it goes down, you're not buying anything. You're waiting for it to go all the way back up here. That's what I was talking about earlier. The auto trader makes sure you always have money. And the lower it goes, what do I always say, Edward? Down is good.
Down is good.
And when you put
That's
that on
your
a
new
t-shirt, you got to
t-shirt.
put my name under it. Because down is good. Because down is when you get to, someone asked me a month ago or something, he said, Ed, the market's been going down so much. See, he recognized that the prices were going down a lot. And he said, should I stop my auto trader and tell it to not buy anymore now until the market recovers or whatever? I don't know what he's thinking, because nobody knows when that's going to be. Whenever. I don't care if it ever recovers. I'll trade down here forever at the bottom. And so I said, the stuff you buy at the bottom is going to give you the biggest returns. The biggest money you're going to make is what you're buying at the lowest prices. So you want to be adding more at the lowest prices, and you don't want gaps in there where you don't buy for a week of a coin, and then you have this big, like you stop buying and the market drops 30% more, and then you got a 30% gap in there. You're missing all the 2%, 3%, 5% moves up and down. You're missing hundreds of trades, and that hundreds of trades is what gives you 100% a year, folks. That little pennies that you're making on these trades that you think is nothing, that is what adds up to 100% a year. You don't need to have big gains. You don't need to be making, huge, you don't need to be making 50% a week, that kind of stuff. You don't, if you're running a 7-Eleven and you want to make more on your potato chips, you don't raise the price of a bag of potato chips to $50 a bag. Nobody's going to buy it. And just like the market doesn't move 50% a day, but it moves 5% a day 50 times in a week or in a month. That's 5 times 50 is 100. 5 times 50 is 150, right? What is 5 times 50? Is my brain fried or what?
250.
All right, there you go. That's a 250% return. See what I'm saying? You don't need big money on each trade. I mean, a store sells ketchup for $4 a bottle. They make 8 cents a bottle of ketchup. That's it. They can't raise the price of a bottle of ketchup to $20. Nobody will buy it. The secret to the market is sell a lot of bottles of ketchup. That's the answer. Am I yelling? I can't get over it. And I almost sound like I'm screaming and stuff, but I'm literally teaching one person at a time. This what I call common sense. And we need to start really, I don't know, I don't want to lecture anybody because I've got thousands of clients. The auto traders are killing it for everybody. They may slow down for a little bit, but that's okay because that's the market. That you can't control the market. You can't dictate to the market. You can't tell the market, I want you to go up today. That's up to the market. And if they go down, all the better. The auto trader takes advantage of that. So down is good.
Yeah, down is good. The best thing you could do right now, Ed, is we got to get to your trader. But before you do that, the best visual I've seen you put up is that bucket in the well. Just so, I
Oh,
mean,
all right.
if you feel like it, put that up briefly before you
to.
go to the trader.
I like the bucket in the well because it explains what I was just talking about. And,
Yeah,
and and this is not a black box system, folks. This
very
system
well.
is not designed to do stuff that you don't know what it's doing, and
Right.
pretend like it's doing stuff that's magic or whatever. It's just running, it's common sense stuff. It's not rocket science, really. It's a lot of code, but it really, what I call it is, I call it a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar. You're running a 7-Eleven. Edward, what kind of stuff do you need to have a 7-Eleven?
You need to have employees, you need brick and mortar, you need to make sure the employees show up on time. You've got
Inventory.
hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory, and you got to be
Yeah.
there 24/7 for your 7-Eleven.
Right. Now, I asked Edward to do that. You know why? Because my brain's fried, and I thought it would be easier just to pass it. I'm a good manager. I just said, hey, you tell him that part of it, because really, there's so much going on in a 7-Eleven. They hate me at Jack in the Box. Those of you who know what Jack in the Box is, I go in there and they have 2 tacos. It used to be 2 tacos for $1. Now it's 2 tacos for $1.80 or something like that. And I go through the drive-through and I say, I would like 2 tacos, 2 of those 2 tacos for $1.80. And they go, okay, would you like fries with that? No, thanks. Would you like a drink with that? No, thanks. I got my smart water here. I'm good. I went there, spent $2. It's all. And they got all that overhead, man. I mean, I feel bad. When I go to these drive-throughs, you guys ought to do it. I do it anyways. I can't help myself. If I drive through a drive-through and I look in there and I look at all those employees and everything, and I'm like, oh my God, they got all that overhead. I'm running an auto trader, does the same thing they're doing with no overhead. The auto
With
trader is just
significant,
cranking out money. I'm putting stuff on a shelf and selling it at a higher price.
by the way, it's significantly higher profit margins.
Yeah, and no overhead. It's insultingly simple, is what I hate to say it. But I presented in Raleigh, North Carolina, a couple years ago, 2 years ago, to an audience of AI traders, AI programmers actually, and I was teaching a class on AI, and I saw a whiteboard and I walked up to it. And I, typical, right? I saw a whiteboard and I had to walk up to it. And I drew a bucket in a well. That's what Attila was talking about. And I asked the audience, there was 80 people in there, and I just threw it out there. I said, if the bucket goes all the way from the top to the bottom and gets the water, how much water will it pump in a lifetime? Let me bring up my screen. I said, if that bucket goes from the top, this is it, to the bottom and gets the water and goes all the way back up and dumps out the water, and then repeats that, goes all the way down, goes then gets the water, goes all the way back up and dumps it out. How much water will it pump in a lifetime? And obviously the typical question was, how big is the bucket? But I said, that doesn't matter. It's going to do it forever. How much water? And they started throwing out numbers. Okay, the very intelligent audience, by the way. They really were smart. And they threw some stuff out there like 1,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000,000 gallons. Nobody in the room objected to those answers. I said, oh, all right. Well, how about if it's the crypto market and it doesn't have to go all the way down and it doesn't have to go all the way up? All it's got to do is wiggle. So let's see. If it goes down a little and it buys, and it goes up a little and it sells, and then it keeps repeating that. Goes down, buys, up, sells, and keeps going. Oh, it went lower. Hold that one now. We'll come back to him later. Right now, the action is down here. So you got to keep pumping me money till I die. And hold that one and hold that one because the price even went lower. That's okay. We'll hold those losers. We'll trade down here now in perpetuity. No matter where it goes, and I don't care where it goes. You could drop 80%, 90%. You're going to keep giving me money forever. These drops don't mean anything. The profits you're taking are going to overwhelm all that easily. And then every time you get a big move like that, all those lots that had jumped over that you were holding that it went above, you sold all that off too at a profit. So how much money can that pump in a lifetime? Now here's a room of 80 PhD people. And the room went silent, and it was just classic. And I heard one guy in the audience go, "There's no way that could be real." I love it. It's an insult to humanity. The market is an insult to humanity. I'm trying to tell you that. And it's just, you're going to take profits till you die and then pass on the trader to your loved ones or your kids. And it's just that this is a forever trader. It's just free money. You just got to unlearn all the misinformation, all the stuff you've been taught that's wrong. Throw away all other knowledge. Right here is what the market is. And that's all it is. Now, let me say this, though, about this. You see these drops, these wiggles? There's no time frame on any of this. This isn't like it's got to go down today and it's got to go up an hour from now. Hey, I started buying ACH at 12 cents up here. It went all the way down to 1.5 cents. And then it worked its way, all the way back up to 6 cents. And then it worked its way all the way back down to 2 cents. And it was just going up and down and all around. But right now I'm still sitting on those losers up there, right? And it's at the bottom down here, still wiggling, still giving me money forever. Now let me flip over to my trader. Up here.
Yeah, let me add some context. So I was
well?
actually reading a couple articles today about where the market's going, what it's doing. So anybody that's keeping up with the market has seen, not my opinion, but what the experts have been writing is that in a relatively short period of time, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, they're looking at an estimated market cap in crypto of $300 trillion. Well,
Nice.
right now it's less than 3.4 trillion. So keep in mind how early we are in the cycle and adoption of crypto, right? Go back 5, 6, 7, 8 years. If you said Bitcoin, what did people do? Thought you were a nefarious thief, thought you were absolutely out of your mind, or both, right? But now look, where's the money? Where's the money? It's rushing into the market, but rushing in so slowly that it's right under your nose. Don't miss it.
And it's still the same.
What do you call
The
this?
people still give you the same answer.
Right.
If you go out and mention crypto, they still think you're crazy. Go ahead.
Well, as I said at the beginning, 17% of the people are in the US only are participating in the crypto market in some way, shape, or form. That is so early in the market. I want to mark this date in time, or this year in time. Let's fast forward 5 years from now and let's recall when we were talking about how early we are in the cycle. you are going to miss the boat. Don't wait for the train to leave the station. If you're going to be in crypto, a lot of people have been buying and holding, and that's fine, because I think in the long term, when you go from 3.4 trillion to 300 trillion, then you're nothing but in the money. But don't miss all the trades. Don't miss all of the excitement and all of the managed risk. I say managed risk, it's not even risk. The only way this trader fails is if you goof up the settings or the coin goes out of business. That's it. Don't miss it.
But even if the coin can go out of business, it's okay, because they can't take away the profits. See, like right here, the profits I took on ACH over the last 3 years is 326,000. My inventory that I'm sitting on that's underwater, I'm only down 84,000 on that. They can never get that money that I already took off the table back. That's mine for life. They can never get this money back, because the software locked that in and took it. Whereas the open inventory is the only thing that's underwater, and there's no problem there. I don't care about that.
So give some context to your trader over on the left hand side. Talk about and I kind of
Sure.
set it up for you, but here you can add context. And you started this in December of 2021. That's about a month or two after the market started crashing.
Right. Well, yeah, 2 months after the market started crashing, right. But it
So,
started with
and
200 back then, and it's been you can see the total profits taken. That 929,000 is right here in the closed positions P&L right up here. You can see it. This
nobody
column,
can take that from you.
you can never take that from me. It's my money. It's profits. The auto trader's job is to make money. What you do with your money is your business. I have mine set to go into my profits, the current profit save bucket here. Okay?
Which is interesting. When I showed my simulated trader a little bit less than a week ago, I had changed the setting from save 0% and just let it throw it back into a down market, and I've just recently changed it to save 100%. And just like you had suggested before, saving 100% going into a down market, stop throwing your money into a black hole. Now, I sort of have a conflict with that. It's not really throwing it into a black hole. It's the trader is collecting inventory on the way down, but at the same time, if you want to take advantage of the profits, particularly as you talk about, what's the what do you say, the card that keeps on giving?
Yeah,
Right,
I have a
your
Visa
Coinbase
card.
card.
Well, Coinbase offers a Visa card. It's not offered in every state. I think there's a few states that it doesn't offer it in. Most states you can go to coinbase.com/card and get a Visa card, and it'll take it right out of your USD or your USDC, right out of your cash. But the auto trader just keeps taking profits. See, this is my 30-day profits here in the last 30 days. It's actually a very slow month. I'm used to at least $30,000 a month, so I don't know if I could survive on $10,000.
Hey, Ed, we've got a lot of questions in the queue, so
Okay.
why don't
But
you,
use that card, and it's the card that never stops giving, by the way. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Attila.
No, I would like you to do a couple things. Cover some of the buys and sells on the bottom when they're placed, filled orders, and then just go into the share with everybody the $1 billion report, and then let's take some questions, because the questions always lead to other screens on the trader that we're going to go back
Right.
to anyway.
All right. So right off the bat here, just to address this AI at the end of this reason, it's what I was saying earlier. The software said the coin is down 3% and I want to buy more. It called the AI and the AI said, "Hold on, don't buy it yet. The price is going lower in the next few minutes." So that's why when it shows an AI there, it means AI got involved in that trade. As opposed to this last purchase up here, it says all add to position rules passed, but it doesn't say AI got involved. AI did not say it's going to go lower, so the software went ahead and bought it. And you can see it bought it at 1143, the price 1143 after those decimal point, those zeros, and it's currently at 111148. It went higher instead of lower, so that's why it did that. You notice it only added on the 17th, which was yesterday, it only bought one coin yesterday, SHIB. So SHIB didn't drop 3% more. If I go down here and I scroll down here and look, you see, I'm only down I'm actually up because of the fees. It looks down here as far as money goes, but on a percentage basis, I'm up 0.26% on that one lot that it purchased. Now, if I go lower, the lot before that, it was down 10%, and then it bought more up here. So it's always looking at the most recent lot, and it's telling it what it's going to do. It's actually telling you the next estimated price of buy is going to, if the price goes to 1006 and the current price is 1146, it's got to drop to 1006 before it buys more. It's telling you when it's going to buy. And AI can cause that number to change, but generally that's what it's got to drop to get that 3% drop. Now, if I want to take profits, it says, well, your entry price was 1143, and it says if it goes to 1186, if it goes to 1186 over here, you can see that the target profit goal is 1186, and it's currently at 1146. So it's got to go up to 1186, and it's going to take profits. So this is not a black box, a secret. It's telling you ahead of time what it's going to buy at and what it's going to sell at, what its target prices are. Now, AI gets involved and causes these numbers to change, but it's letting you know ahead of time right where you stand. It knows it's even telling you how many shares it's going to buy when it does that purchase. And as far as the sell goes, well, you already know the quantity because you already own it, so that's what it's going to sell.
Yeah, great stuff, Ed. I love how you could go into that detailed report there. That's so helpful.
That's what this plus is right here.
Right.
You can go down a quick rundown real fast. I'm going to just do it real fast.
Okay.
Just to show you what I was talking about with on January 27th, Shiba Inu went. This is why I say down is good and hold that losing inventory. It's okay. On January 27th, ACH took off. It went from 2.2 cents to 5, or January 26th. Look at all these closes, all these ACH closes, right? ACH just started taking off, going up. And all that inventory I was sitting on, that I always talk about, a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory. Down is good. All of a sudden it started selling all these lots off. Look at this, is all January 27th in one day. The price was going higher. And the auto trader just started closing out positions like crazy. All this free money. Look at all that's ACH. All these ACH closes. And then the beauty is, I love this because, like on the 28th, the 27th here and the 28th, it started wiggling. So it was going straight up, but then it started trying to pull back a little bit. And the auto trader said, oh no, you're not getting away with that. So the auto trader started buying more in the middle of the small pullback in the up rally. So they tried to go down, and the auto trader said, I'll take more then, I'll buy more now. And so while it was going, and then it would go even higher, and the auto trader just started selling all that off. So it's selling off the profit, the stuff that it bought on the same day or yesterday, along with the stuff that it had bought months ago, or even the last few years ago. It was selling all that off at the same time. So we were double dipping all the way up. And that coin went from 2.2 cents to 5.6 cents in 4 days. Thank you for the free money. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a heck of a day.
And that's what it's all about. You'll make 10 times more by trading than you will be as a buy and holder.
That's great stuff. That was like that one day was like Christmas there for you. My goodness.
Yeah, and we get those windfalls all the time.
Yeah. Why don't you go to the $1 billion report now? I think it's a perfect time to do that because it's so valuable, this information. And you update this every 30 days.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly. Yeah, I'm going to go there 1 second. I'm on Alchemy, Coin Market Cap, Alchemy Pay. And you see all these wiggles. That's in 7 days, all that buying and selling. You go a month, and even though it's trending down, that just means you're holding a few positions that you bought at higher prices, but all the middle of each one of these tranches here, when it goes down, you're still doing all that trading, all the profits you just keep taking. And it's just profits in perpetuity, the price is flying all over. You always get these crazy windfalls in the middle of it where you just make a fortune, and then you go right back to your intraday money that you keep taking. In the long run, you're always going to get these pyramids that keep going up. And then you're still making money in the middle of all that, but then they say, hey, today's Ed's birthday, boom. Today's Father's Day, boom. Here's, Christmas, boom. Thanks for the free money. Where it's like Christmas every day. Somebody said Happy Father's Day to me the other day. I said, hey, it's Father's Day in my house every day. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, sorry, deviate again. I always deviate, sorry, folks. The highest trade count report is actually part of your trader. You can click on it on the menu and click on highest trade counts. There it is. Or you can go to just go to the website and click on trade counts, and it'll pop this up. And so this is a report that comes out once a month. Edward calls this the $1 billion report. Didn't you used to call it a $1 million report? I don't know.
I did. I called it the $1 million report until I realized how powerful it is. And here, let me give you some context. When I called it the $1 million report, you only had a few of these columns. You didn't have the historical values to the left. You didn't have the currencies and the type of coin it is, as you just added, as I talked about. You just had, as a matter of fact, you didn't even have the monthly average. You just had.
No, I only had this one column right here. The previous year's close. These are profitable trades. Profitable trades.
So that was the $1 million report. Now look at the $1 billion report.
Yeah, I started adding, improving on the report. I only started creating this like 7 months ago, this report. And, because I was thinking, I want to trade the coins that trade the most, that give me the most trades. These are profitable closed trades in 1 year. So I sorted it, automatically. You got the symbols on the left and how many trades it did. If you own that, if you were trading that coin, how many, roughly, let's call it how many trades you would have gotten in the last year, right? So it's like a 1 year back test on every coin, right? Without the AI involved. There's no AI in this trader, in this example, in these trades. So like if you were to go down to the bottom, you'd see coins that, 43 trades in a year, 106 trades in a year. Even if I was to go to Bitcoin, let me find Bitcoin here. There, it's all the way down there on line 329, 278 trades in a year. Whereas if I go back, that's why Bitcoin, it doesn't move as much as these other coins. And then I added, I added the monthly average, how many trades it does on average per month. But then I said, I'm worried about a coin that doesn't trade enough. What if it was a big number because it had a few big months like that? But what if really it's trading 18 trades in a month? I don't like that. I don't like 14 trades in a month. I don't like 13 trades in a month. So I added the monthly counts, how many trades it would have done each month. I only had room for 8 of these, 8 months, but so that's when I started looking at things like SUI, number 5. It's never had a lower month than that 1 month in September, 38 trades. The next lowest month was just last month, 78 trades. I feel like if I'm trading that SUI, I feel like I'm going to get at least 78 trades. You know what I mean? Every month or more. Man, I don't know about you, but I like that. I like that better than trading, go down here near the bottom. And what do you got here? If I'm trading ALT, look at you got junk. You're going month over month over month. You're not making any money. Look at this one here, CQT. No trades for 4 months. It's like, forget it. GoBabyTrade traders, use this report to not trade this junk. And think of the millions of people sitting on this garbage, these coins that aren't even moving. So Edward, the example you gave in your trader was you were only trading those top coins. You were trading SUI, if I remember, SUI, Bonk, and you can look at Bonk's trades. Look at all that. Beautiful, beautiful month. Only had 1 month of 37, then 57 here, then a 72. You know, and then the next one, if I go down, Peppy, that's another one right here. Look at these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful month, beautiful year. Every month. Whiff, here's Whiff down here. Another one, fantastic. I mean, this is gold, man. This is the
Yeah,
billion
no,
dollar
that's,
report. These are the, and when you sign up, as soon as you put your credit card number in, it's going to bring you to a screen right away and say enter your symbols, and there's going to be a default button there, and it's going to have like 5 coins on it right away, and it's going to say, hey, here are the ones that the top traders are trading,
right.
that most of the people are trading and cleaning up. So we're just sharing with you. We're not investment advisors. I'm just letting you know what other people are doing,
Exactly.
and doing really, really great with.
Yep.
ACH, I've been trading ACH for 3 years now, almost 4. It's worked its way all the way back up to number 20 on the list, which is cool. And it's just,
Great
again,
stuff, Ed. Great
one
stuff.
slow month last September, 10 trades. It was a slow month for everybody, by the way, last September. But then, consistent number of trades every month, and that's what it's about.
So Ed,
Hey, give me
I,
you want, if you're running a 7-Eleven, you want product that moves. You don't put stuff in your store that isn't selling. And that's
right.
really what this is doing. Again, same technology, same stuff you've been doing for 1,000 years. You buy it, you put a product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price, and you put the fastest moving stuff on the shelf, stuff you're going to sell a lot of.
Perfect, perfect. Well, time to take your jacket off there, Mr. Barsano.
Ah, yes.
We're
You
go.
saw me get up. You saw me get up a lot of times, right? Every time you notice I disappeared, I was walking over to that thermostat because
Ah,
I was starting to get lower the air because it's cool for the Q&A session.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Edward, why don't you clear the screen, Ed? Unshare your screen.
Oh,
Stop
all right.
sharing. Okay, and then Edward, if you don't mind putting up the or at least asking the questions, and then now while you're doing that, Edward, I did see one question come in. I think it was from a Michelle. I'm not sure. Sorry if I don't have your name right. I don't have the right technology tonight, but it was a question about fees. Like who's got the lower fees, Kraken or Coinbase? Let me give everybody a piece of advice from me being in this space full time for almost 5 years. Don't ever, ever, ever sweat the fees in this industry. Ever. When I was first in this industry and I first got involved and I was buying coins that I knew were going to go ballistic, I had to buy it on Uniswap, and my Ethereum fees to buy $250 worth of a coin were $50. That's insane. But guess
You
what?
did better than I did.
Guess
I
what?
went and bought. I bought before I automated the market. I had to go to Pancake Swap to buy some. What was it? It was Baby Doge. Baby Doge.
Okay.
I had to go to Pancake Swap to buy it, and I had to go through Binance with their stupid BNB coin. I kept buying the wrong BNB coin. There's a BNB Binance and a BNB altcoin or whatever. And
Right.
I'm going to tell you, I bought a couple $1,000s worth of sheep, and I think it cost me about $2,000 in fees with all the mistakes I was making.
Well, that's a little bit of an error in judgment there. I get that's a different story, but the point I'm trying to make is we are in a space that can make you so uber wealthy. Don't sweat the fees. You cannot live 10 lifetimes and have the financial opportunity that we all have in this space moving forward. Who cares if each trade you're paying a fee? By the way, I'm the trader. The profits that you see taken are net of the fees. So just I wanted to
Right.
make sure everybody knows that. But it was a valid question, and I'm not belittling the person that asked that, but it just reminded me to remind everybody on the Zoom, don't ever sweat the fees. You're going to be
I
so
never
glad, you know.
I never worry about the fees. I never worry about taxes. Hey, you get me 100% a year return. I don't care whatever I got to pay in taxes and fees, so be it. My wife says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. My
Right.
goal, your goal is to make a lot of money. And when you make a lot of money, all those small things, you don't worry about that.
Yeah, the main difference between Coinbase and Kraken is this. Kraken, you could only use USD. Coinbase, you could use USD or USDC. And I believe there's a big inherent advantage to staying in crypto always when you're trading. Don't go back to fiat. Stay in crypto, which is USDC. That's a stable coin. That's crypto. So that's why I prefer Coinbase. But some of the coins that you may want to trade are not available on Coinbase, and you're going to, or maybe you have an account with Kraken, and because of some technicality, you got kicked off of Coinbase, and it's a real
So you
pain
go
in
to
the butt.
Kraken.
Then stick with Kraken. It's an amazing, very good exchange,
Yeah,
very
they're both
reputable.
good
Yeah.
platforms, and they're both US based.
But don't, and so the second question is that just came in, how do you handle the taxes? Guess what? Taxes in the world of blockchain and crypto are 1000% of the time always a function of the exchange. At the end of the year, they send you a statement. It has nothing to do with the trader. Okay, so at the end of the year in February, they send you a reminder, your statement is ready. You do with that statement whatever you want to do. If you want to put it under your pillow, that's your choice. If you want to give it to your CPA, that's your choice. Most people give it to their CPA. Okay, but it has nothing to do with the trader. The trader doesn't control your money. It's just giving the signals, the buy and sell signals to the exchange.
Can I
Okay,
make one quick comment on that real fast?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're not going to go into taxes at all, but I am going to make a comment about taxes. The way they log the trades is different than the way the auto trader actually executes the trades. So they log the trades to be tax beneficial for you. They make it look like a lot of profitable trades are losing trades. And that's a good thing. Doesn't change your money. You still made all your money, but for tax purposes, they reduced your taxes.
Great point. Great point. Thank you. Edward, are you ready with the Q&A?
I am, but I want to say thank you to Anthony. Very early on when we first jumped on, he had a very good comment. He said, "Hello, GBT family. For everyone here today that is new and skeptical, I'm here to say that this trader is a blessing in disguise." And sorry, my screen got
Isn't that like a
covered.
song, Judy in Disguise?
Beauty in disguise. Yeah, you're dating yourself. as as this may as this is my first robotic trader running only a week now, with only a few months into the crypto space, this trader is very user friendly and puts out results. Shout out to Crypto Casey. Yes, shout out to Crypto Casey. You're
Can't
here
say that
because of
enough.
Crypto Casey. Yeah, she's an
She's a
amazing
genius.
person that is simply in it for what we are as well, which is to educate you in the marketplace, to give you what I'm going to call, my opinion only, this is an unfair advantage that you have over everybody else if you employ the trader. But to continue with Anthony, this trader is very user friendly and puts out results. Shout out to Crypto Casey, and a personal thank you to Mr. Barsano, Edward, and Attila. I didn't see that part
Thank you.
forever changed our lives. That is uh,
Very nice.
that is extraordinarily impactful for me, and I know for Ed and Attila. That's why we're here. Life's tough enough, and when as I sometimes have disclosed, I spent 3 decades plus inside the matrix that is programmed to keep you controlled and keep you broke, just over broke. That's why they came up with the acronym JOB. So, but Anthony, thank you so much. There's been a lot of very, very positive comments. There always are. We greatly appreciate that. That is very touching for us. It makes all of our time and investment in you and providing you value. We're here to educate you. That's it. If you buy the trader, great. If you don't buy the trader, great.
Well, may I make a comment?
Of course.
Yeah.
What my software does, and it's been doing for 25 years, is I take all the sport out of the market. I took all the gambling out of the market. I took all the emotions out of the market. And even I saw one question go by. I didn't catch who it just came up a few seconds ago. It said something about if Bitcoin starts running up, should I change my allocations, money allocations? And I'm like, no. Because just because it's going up, hey, it went up 2 weeks ago when it hit $112, 112. Where'd it go from then? Back down to 98 and then worked its way back up. Where's it at now? 104, 105? Don't ever let the market fool you. It can't fool the auto trader. Don't worry about it. People think it's going, market's rocketing. I want to go all in. I want to go all in. No, because just because it was rocketing yesterday doesn't mean it's going to rocket for the next 3 weeks. It might go down 30% from where you thought it was going to be going up. Instead, it reverses and you got excited and threw all your money in at the top. Leave it alone. The auto trader is going to grind out money for life. I never touch those settings. And I don't let the market scare me or influence me. I don't even look at my auto trader every day. Do you know when I look at my auto trader? If I'm doing a webinar and I bring it up on the screen.
Well, you're
I don't
welcome.
know if it's trading every day. I can tell you one thing I'm confident about my auto traders.
That's
They are
right.
doing everything they need to do. If it's a buy day, it'll buy. If it's a sell, if it's time to sell, it'll sell. I know it's taking all the money the market is willing to give me. And I can't take more than what the market's willing to give. And if you're changing settings and all on the fly, constantly changing the strategy, you don't realize that those settings, that auto trader, when you set those settings when you first start, it knows what the whole game plan is, and it's already laid out the plan. It says, all right, we're prepared to build. If it's a toll booth, if the cars are coming this way, it's like when the price goes down and you're buying more, when it buys, I call that you just built another toll booth. Now turn that sideways like this. It's like if the cars are going this way, it's building toll booths as it needs them. Just like that bucket in a well. It goes down when it buys, that's a toll booth. And it says now the price can never go above that without giving me money. And if it goes lower, it'll build another toll booth lower down. It's okay. So now you got all these toll booths, right? But then as the prices go through these and they start closing, those toll booths go away. Now it's got all that extra money that it had down here. It's got it available, but it's still reserving enough money to build those toll booths to the bottom if it needs to. So you can't just start using up all your money, because you're really going to see a difference in your trading. Because if you start manually doing things and using up all the money at the top, one day you were making, I make hundreds of dollars a trade, every trade I make, you're going to reduce the amount of that it's investing down below because you used up all the money up here. If the software manages the money, you're going to be making good money for every trade, no matter where the price goes. You don't even care if a coin drops 80%. Personally, I love a drop. I love a good crash. I love 5 days down in a row. I recognize the value of those down days, because everybody else is dead when that happens in the world. They're dying, man, when the coins are going down. Everybody's dying. You know how you feel when it's going down. Your DNA isn't prepared for that stuff. The auto trader's DNA loves a good crash. It says, good, I got the market now. Now I got you trapped down here, market. What are you going to do? What are you going to run Microsoft out of business to steal a few $1,000 from me? Or are you going to go back up? And when you go back up, I got you. And you're going to make me rich. And that's what the wealthy are doing. They're loading up like crazy over the last 3 years. While the market's been crashing, what do you think Joe Public's been doing? Dumping their shares at a loss. Every time you see that market drop, a coin drop 5% in a day, think of the millions of people out there selling their coins at a loss. And who do you think's sucking up those shares like crazy? There's two classes of people sucking up those shares: the rich and GoBabyTrade users. We are loading up on the lower prices, because when
Yeah.
that's where the money is. And you're set for life. I've taken all the sport out of it. All that misinformation that they're spewing out on the internet and everything, all the lies and the gambling, and there's all the scams. Throw it all away. Crypto Casey knows 1,000% more than I do about that whole space. And Attila too, by the way. He knows 600% more. Crypto Casey knows 1,000% more. She's a genius. But I'm going to tell you, the only thing I know is I know how to grind money out of that market every day of my life till I die.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what very well said, Ed. And before I hand it over to Edward, I do want to clarify because there's some questions coming in. If somebody wishes to use the trader for the stock market, you could certainly buy multiple traders. The $1,000 crypto Casey discount does apply to both the crypto trader and the stock trader, but it's a separate license. So it's a separate license for the crypto trader and a separate one for the stock trader, but you could get the $1,000 discount on both. So that's just an FYI. Edward,
Right.
go. You're on, buddy.
Yes. So, so Ed, I love what you've shared in the past. I loved when you said, you know, if you walk out the door one day and you look down and you find a $20 bill, and you walk out the door the second day and you find a $20 bill, and you walk out the third day and you find another $20 bill. When you walk out every day after that, you're going to be looking down for the next $20 bill. Let me add some context to that. So people think, you know, often they often think, oh, you know, I got to have $200,000 to make money, right? Because that's the example that we show that you're a real live trader. You don't. But let me
I'm going
add
to
some
start
context
showing
on
a
it.
lower price trader that I have.
Well, and I will probably move the simulator to something that is understandable. But and I'll give you this example. So on your $20 theory every day, right? If you started with, let's just say you started with $2,000 and your trader made 20 bucks a day. 20 bucks a day over a 365-day period is a return of $7,300. Where are you going to get that kind of return? And if you were to reinvest that into the trader, right? We call it a lifetime trader because literally it is a lifetime trader. And the example I use is if I said, Ed, you give me $1. For every dollar you give me, I'm going to give you $3 back. How many dollars would you give me?
In
All
my
of them.
case, I'd give you a few million bucks. Yeah.
All of them, right? So that is the possibility. We're not here as financial advisors. We're here as educators from a perspective of where else are you going to get that kind of return on your money? You know, we talk about triple digit returns, right? If it were 30% a year, where are you going to get that? Yes, sir.
I gotta answer somebody's question about the
Yes, of course.
something. So you got to put a light on, by the way. Your face is getting real dark.
Yeah,
So
well, it's dark outside. I don't have another light, so
oh, that's
apologies.
okay. That's okay. So basically, somebody said, can you live trade and simulate at the same time? The answer is no.
No.
You have to do one or the other, okay? As soon as you buy the license, you go into simulation mode. 5 minutes later, you could be live, connected to Coinbase or Kraken. So that's a question that comes up quite a bit. I just saw it come across the screen. So before you ask your first question, I wanted to make sure I got that out. So can we go into the Q&A?
Yes, of
Each
course.
auto trader, may I say, each auto trader is, I'm telling you, man, it's running like the ever ready bunny rabbit. I
That's
mean,
right.
and it is focused one thing on one account. If you're live, it's focusing on that live account. It's not fiddling around looking at paper trade stuff. It's
Right.
100% that trader. You don't need it doing other stuff. You know, if you want to get a second auto trader to do paper trading at the same time, you can do that. But
Correct.
you know, the auto traders, all the resources, all the energy, all the programming, everything is all concentrating on that live trader.
No, because trust me on this one, you don't need to paper trade. Okay.
Nah, don't waste your
No,
time.
you don't.
Don't waste
I
your
do it
time.
as examples. I do it as examples so that I can show the
Of
power
course.
of the $1 billion
Of course.
report.
Yeah.
So
That's a
so
different story. We do that for the Zooms, actually.
right.
So
Right.
that's
So
perfect.
for
But
you, Frank, is it not a question? Says Ed, you are a genie in a bottle.
No, my wife's name is Jeannie. She's my genie in the bottle.
there you
That's
go.
right.
Okay, Edward,
All right.
go forth
Mr.
and ask the first question.
All right, Mr. Barsano, you have implemented the minimize option for the filled orders section. Would you consider applying the same for the portfolio section? I see. When you click on in the portfolio section, you click on the or next to the symbol of the plus, and it expands to show the whole thing. So I believe that Anthony's asking, can you do that in the portfolio section as well? I'm assuming, or I'm sorry, in the filled orders section. I
Why?
yeah, I
No,
don't
it
see
is. It
that.
is. The filled orders is just every order that it took place. It bought here and it sold there.
Right,
It's,
literally in
it's
perpetuity.
every
There's
trade.
oh, maybe, and this is a guess, maybe Anthony's suggesting that all of the same symbol is
Oh,
coupled
grouped.
together, but that I don't think that would work either because it is a chronological order of when it bought it, when it sold it. So good
Yeah.
question.
You can always, hey, you can copy that whole section in the filled orders, just do a control A and select it all and copy it and drop it into Excel and do what you want, generate your
Mhm.
reports.
Yep.
I am working on a trading a report module where you'll be able to do that, sort by symbol and say, show
Oh,
me all
cool.
the trades, for this symbol or ordered by symbol name, and that we're working on a report module for that. In the meantime, right, you can, if you really want to just, I mean, all I care about is the summary at the top of the screen, for that matter. You see how much profits you took on that coin. You can see what you're doing on each coin.
Yeah, there are people that love to analyze numbers and punch
I
things
know. A lot of
as
people want to analyze. I know people that literally type their trades into Excel.
well.
That's a shout out to a few of you that do that, and I'm okay with it. Every
Yeah.
day, I know people that go in, and Peter Smith, is a gentleman that does that. Every day he types his buys and his sells. There aren't that many usually. Sometimes there's 20 or 30 of them, but and he puts them in Excel himself. I feel like it's overkill, it's unnecessary, and all I care about is living my life and with my wife and kids, and
Well,
and
well,
and and let my auto trader just run in the background, and just generate money.
yeah, as you
Um,
heard me, you hit on a great point, and I promise I'm going to go to the Q&A. What you've given me and my family, and I'm assuming that other people can attest to this, is that I don't have to I don't have to stare at a screen. I don't have to wonder what's happening. I get all my time back that I get to invest in my family. And time is the only thing that we cannot make more of.
Yep.
So, as always, appreciate that.
Yep.
So, Joe says,
I understand Anthony's question. He reiterated it there. He meant expand shrink the portfolio section so that there's more room on the screen for more filled orders
Oh,
to show.
oh.
got it.
Yeah, it's a little
Got it.
bit more
Yes, sir.
challenge. Yeah, it's a little more challenging than it looks because everybody's screens are different. They're using their cell phones and all the
Yeah.
different code. If you saw the code, you'd want to kill yourself. To be honest with you, it
Yeah.
looks, and I'm not a graphics guy, so
Well, thank God
I
we don't have to
believe
worry.
I want to
Thank God
do
we don't have
that.
to
I
worry
want
about
to
the
do it
code
where you
either.
could. I want to do it where you can drag that screen up and show a bigger section of the top or the bottom. I get it. It's
Go
on the
ahead,
to-do
Edward.
list. It's
All right.
actually
So,
it's on the to-do list, Anthony.
right. So, Russ and Luann, who always join us, Russ says, I hope you don't mind me sharing this because you asked it in the question section. I think I made a big mistake in March after the market started to slow by chasing the coins that were trading higher. I now have over 60 coins sitting in my trader that won't
What?
sell.
What?
Yeah.
So, Ed,
Shoot me an email.
yes, I was just going to suggest if you would
Wow.
shoot, send an email to support at GoBabyTrade. I think
Okay.
somebody from his office
We'll try to help you
can
whittle that down without, it's a challenge because it's better if you don't if you can start off with a handful of coins, like 3 to 5 coins, it's always best. This is a discussion I literally have every day in email with people, you know,
Yeah. And
and they come in with 40, 50 coins, and I'm like, you're spreading your money all over the place. You're not even making any money per trade. You're getting trades all day long. You're not making any money. Because you spread your money out too thin to too many coins. A coin makes a big move, but you don't have much money in that coin. Better if
Yep.
you have 3 to 5 coins, you got a lot of money in each coin.
Yep.
let me emphasize that if before you take the next question, Edward, this is a pet peeve of mine. And I almost always say it every week. There really is no reason why I actually say if you're trading with less than $2,000, you don't need more than two, maybe three at the max, but two's plenty. Once you go over 3 to 5,000, then you could add a third. And if you're over 5 to 10,000, you could have 4 to 5 coins. But to have more than five,
But even
is,
if you have $1 million, I wouldn't have more than 5. I trade with
no,
3 or
there's no
4
reason.
coins. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're complicating your life. Keep this simple and listen to what we're here to help you, not to hurt you. Okay. And the more we help you and the more you listen, obviously, the less we have to assist you. We're happy to assist you anytime you need it. There's many people on here that have reached out to my email and Edward's email, and we've answered you within 24 hours on multiple occasions. So we don't mind answering, but I don't know why I say this every week and then we hear that somebody has, so many coins on there. I know we say it over and over, but everybody,
No, Attila, it's not as
everybody,
bad as you're thinking. We have thousands of clients, and most people aren't in that boat. It's just the
yeah,
few that when it
yeah.
happens, that we go, he's got 50 coins.
Yeah,
But
And
that's
then the
very
other thing
rare.
is,
That's actually pretty rare. All right,
well, the
most
other,
people don't have that.
so there's a flip side to that, and I'll be really quick. The other question we get often is, look, I started with 5 coins or 7 coins. Now I want to switch 3 or 4 of them out and change them into. You want to get into the habit when you buy the trader, start with, let's say you pick 4 coins, stick with those 4. Don't be changing in and out of coins. You're complex, because now you've got open positions. It gets a little complicated. Okay. I go for good projects. Like Ed Barsano mentioned Sui. Sui is a layer 1 blockchain that is getting a lot of attention from the institutions. That project's going to be around for a long, long time. I'm never going to have to change out Sui if that's a coin I choose. Never, ever. Okay. Some of these meme coins, maybe, pick good projects, not the ones, in my opinion, that necessarily have, and this is going against a little bit of the $1 billion report, okay? But you see a history there of the top ones, and it's working out amazing for Ed and for Edward, especially everybody saw the $100,000 and the $25,000 it's made. That's amazing, but be careful with that, because if you see a coin where 8 months ago it was 12 trades, and then 4 months ago it was 189 trades, something's going on there. Look for that consistency. Then you could pick it. But I go for the good projects. I spend time seeking out companies that are strong, have a foundation, very high market cap, and they solve a problem in the world, a real problem that no other technology can solve. That's who I like putting in my trader. Okay, I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox.
When you sign up, the default symbols are already there, and
Default is great.
that a lot of the top traders are trading, and so you don't really have to think about any of this stuff. It's not. I mean, because it's not going to be easy for everybody to go out and try to find the best coins. People keep talking about, well, I don't like trading meme coins. Well, I don't know. I made a fortune on Shiba Inu. That's a meme coin. I made a lot of money on Dogecoin. That's a meme coin. ACH and GRT, Alchemy
Yeah,
Pay,
but
and the
those are the
crap.
blue chip. Those are the blue chip meme coins. They'll be around for a long time. Doge is not
Right.
going anywhere. Bonk is not going anywhere. Pepe's not going anywhere. So I
Yeah.
agree with you on those. Okay, Edward, next question.
Yep. Let me just say this. Everybody that's in this community, we're here to help you. Whether it's helping you whittle down the portfolio in you testing something, that's all short term. You're not losing any money. You may not be maximizing currently your current situation, but we'll help you with that. There's no wrong answer. There's no downside. Manipulating the settings in the system is going to hurt you. But like I said, just send an email to
It
if
could,
you have
it
any of
could
those
hurt them,
issues.
it depends what they're doing, they,
Right.
I see people changing the settings. It's okay. They're not, I mean, if you're changing max lots from 2 to 100, yeah, that's not, that's
But
different. That's a
but
radical change, you're really, that's different. But really, the sooner you get started, and I'm not a salesman, everybody knows that, but in reality, sometimes when we're doing a webinar, and we do get a lot of signups after a webinar, every webinar, but we don't get 100 new signups all at once. And I'm often surprised at why not. Because it's because everyone's not recognizing that the auto trader is, the sooner you get started, the sooner you start making money. Because every day that you're not running an auto trader is a day your money isn't sitting in a machine cranking out money every day. And so every day you're not running is a day that you're not making money, because the auto trader needs to be running. And then also, a well-seasoned auto trader, you've heard me say that before, has a lot of down inventory that you took advantage of the down market. And each one of my fingers is one lot, a purchase. Remember what I always say, the action is down here, so it's going up and down here while I'm holding this loser up here. If it goes back up there, then the top one will sell off also. But if it's going lower, you're accumulating this inventory. So if a coin jumps, say 30%, see these bottom three, boom, they all get sold all at once. See, a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory. So the sooner you get started, the sooner your trader starts building the inventory. So, I know I talked to somebody for 6 months, because, hey, we're all friends. I like to talk about the border. I like to talk about the vaccines. I'm the same as everybody. Everybody knows if you call me, we're going to talk for 3 hours. There's so much going on in the world that we could talk about. And I'm just enjoying life. So I'm just saying, the sooner you get started, the sooner you've got a money machine sitting in a corner for the rest of your life. And you have no idea how many people, like I was saying, I talked to somebody for 6 months, and then he finally signs up, because I don't care how long it takes to sign up. Fine, take a year, take forever. If you never sign up, that's okay too. But he finally signs up, and what do you think he says after the first week after he signs up? I should have started 6 months ago. It's like,
Well,
yes,
let
try
me
to
let me
tell you
give you
that.
let me give you an Attiliism, if that even makes sense. Every day that you don't have the trader, your money is unemployed.
Right. Yeah.
And don't listen to people these scams out there. They'll say, "Oh, we'll give you, sign up with us. You'll get 300% a month." They can't do that. That's scam. That's got scam written all over it. You know, I'm happy if my auto trader does 50 to 100% in a year. If I even do, you think over the last 4 years I was making 100% a year? No, there were some periods during that big crypto winter, especially from October of 21 till October of 22, the whole year later. I mean, I was happy to get a 50% in a market that dropped 80%. That was beautiful. I didn't need 100%. But just if you even made 20% a year, you're still beating everything out there. It's
Yeah.
automatic. It's
Yeah.
an automated
Yeah.
trader. But if you're ever making just a little bit, it means the only way they can make that happen is if they keep pushing the prices lower just to jerk with the public. Because what does the public do when the prices go down? They start manually selling at a loss. That's what Joe Public does. And the wealthy load up. So when they're pushing it down, they're just jerking with the public is what they're doing. And that's pushing your account value down. And people, I noticed some people feel like, oh, I'm not doing so well. And I'm like, well, the coin prices did drop 50%. The value of those coins in the last 2 months got cut in half. I said, so did you look at your account value? Did it drop 50%? Did your $20,000 account go down to 10,000? No. Why not? Because of all the profits you took along the way and all the cash you had sitting on the sideline that wasn't in the market, that was just sitting there waiting to be used but wasn't used yet. So the software's doing all the smart stuff. And so people are actually winning dramatically because of the profits they're taking, and they don't realize that the only reason the account value would go down is because the market lowered the prices. But don't worry about that. That's manipulation. I ignore
Thank
the
you, Ed.
prices. It doesn't mean anything to me. I look at the profits taken. And as long as you can't deny it, I always say, if I had a jelly jar, an empty jar, rinse out the jar and throw a marble in there every day in that jar, because those are profits, and watch that thing fill up for the rest of your life. Profits cannot be denied. They're real. It's real money. And once you take it, it's yours and nobody can take it back. So So just don't worry. Profits will add up. Relax. There's no
Yeah.
rush. You don't have to make 100% in a month. Sometimes people say, I want to make at least $1,000 a day. All right, that's 365,000 or 365,000 in a year. Well, how much are you trading with? 10,000. Well, that's not going to happen. You're not going to make, go from 10,000 to 365,000. Do the math and realize that 100%, if you're trading with 20,000 and 100% return is another 20,000. Divide that by 365 days and see how much a day that would add up to. And it's not 1,000 a day.
Yeah, well said, well said. Hey, Edward, before I turn it back to you, unfortunately, I have a commitment, so I've got to run, but let me just let everybody know and remind you, we are here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern with Mr. Barsano. So, Edward, if you haven't put the link up there yet, Crypto Casey's link, he will be putting that up there where you could take advantage of the $1,000 discount, okay? And then, again, if you have any questions in the chat, the links for the 2 emails will be there. Remember, support@rctmarketingsystems.com is the one for more general questions. And if it's a question of a very high technical nature, I would send it to definitely to GoBabyTrade.com or support@GoBabyTrade.com. But that's going to be in the chat. So with that, Ed Barsano, I'll see you next week. Thanks for all your help this evening and all your wisdom as usual. Edward, great job. And everybody, thank you for being here. You guys wrap up the Q&A and I'll see you on the next turnaround.
Thanks, Attila. Thank you for taking right in the middle of your vacation. You took time to be on. Thank you.
Oh, it's a working vacation when I need to, so it's good.
And that sun, really, that sun you're getting in your face, it's working, man. You really look, like you've been out at the beach.
Yeah, no, I don't do the beach, but it's sunny here. So take care, everybody. Thank you. Peace out.
All right, peace out. Thank you, Attila. So, Edward, what are we going to do? We got another hour. You're muted. I can't hear you, Edward. Can't hear you.
Huh?
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I don't know what happened. It must have been a disruption when Attila left. Rick says GBT is genius. The rest of your comments, Rick, I'm going to take offline. And what I suggest is Rick needs some help. Ed, if you would please, Rick, send an email to Ed and his team at support@GoBabyTrade.com, and he'll give you a review. Ed, you can see his questions. So if you would,
well,
please.
I can't see his questions, but we can't always answer every email every day. Sometimes it takes a few days to get to you. So, but
we will certainly get back to you, Rick.
We don't just delete emails when somebody sends it to us. We don't say, "Well, I'm not going to answer that." Delete.
Rick, if you could just copy and paste in your question into an email at support@GoBabyTrade, and we'll certainly address it. Okay, let's see. Bear with me just a moment.
Okay, well, we're exactly 2 hours in.
Yep. So, yep, we're going to keep you just a little bit longer. We'll blow through these questions. If we don't get to your questions, please do send them to either or both support@rctmarketingsystems.com or support@GoBabyTrade if it's a more technical issue and you need some help, particularly reviewing your account. Then I would suggest that. Joe says,
but for those of you who don't have an account at all, speak up. If you have doubts or questions, that's what I like about the Q&A session is we answer anything. I want to hear, because for 25 years, especially in the early days around 2002, 2005, all the negative stuff that I was hearing from the public. There's no way that could be real. And if that was real, there'd be no stock market. If it was that easy, everybody would already have it. And I'm like, whoa, you think it was easy, huh? Okay. But in reality, you know, from your perspective, it's a piece of cake. You sign up, turn it on, fund your Coinbase account, connect the two accounts, then go on vacation. You're done. Then the auto trader will run every day for the rest of your life. And you know, and then you're going to see that it is real. And if you have any doubts, let me tell you, the people that I think or Edward, you mentioned that earlier, the people who criticize it on the internet, if you're out on Discord or any of those places, you know, I don't have a Discord account. That, you know, I'm just saying, I just hear the word Discord. But I think that's like a bulletin board or something. I don't know. The people who criticize this stuff are people who don't own an auto trader because they can't fathom it. I hear it all the time, you know, people, it's hard for people to believe that the market is as easy as I say it is. But in reality, the market's, I call it an insult to humanity. And I'm not a therapist, so I really I can't understand why everyone doesn't see the obvious, that it's just numbers
Well,
doing this.
yeah,
And
I mean,
but
that's
that's
part of
all it
your,
is.
that's part of your genius in recognizing the simplicity of it and applying that. I mean, most of us, as I said, you know, the three decades plus that I spent inside the matrix, understanding what the control mechanism is trying to do is literally misinform you so that you don't think anything is real, so that you think anything that is out of the ordinary that's not doom and gloom is a scam. And I'm not discounting that there is a whole lot of scams out there. You know, we just had someone comment that they lost a considerable amount of money with scammers. I can't speak to that other than I've been scammed. Uh, Ed's been scammed. Attila's been scammed. But we put ourselves in a smarter place, right? I can tell you 100%. Um, this trader is not a scam. It's for real. It only has the ability to send buy and sell orders, period. It's not manipulating. You're 100% in control of your money, period. Period. There isn't any guesswork. There isn't any sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it. It just works. And you
And
either
it's been
believe it or
working for
you
25 years.
you either believe it or you don't believe it. I mean, we can lead you to it, educate you to it. It's for you to be semi-adult, because I'm only semi-adult. For you to absorb all that information, ask questions, join us. We're happy if you join us every single week. We love the educational part because I can speak for, actually I can speak for all of us. Ed, Attila, and myself, we're here to serve you. We only get better if you do well. That's it.
And
Off my soapbox.
I can only say every week we talk, right? I hear people say, you know, and I've heard it before, you know, when I used to present all over the country to audiences, live audiences. I presented everywhere, man, to hundreds of events, you know, to live audiences over the years. And I discovered everybody wants to make money, but nobody knew how. I watched everybody. Everybody's out there just gambling. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? It's just chaos. And everybody wants to make money. They really want just what the auto trader delivers, and that is just turn this thing on and watch it make money. You know,
Yeah.
sitting here trying to predict things. I'm not trying to predict anything. This auto trader is not a forecasting system. I'm not out here trying to say what a coin is going to do tomorrow. I stood in front of an audience one time in New Jersey, and I said, you need to change the name of your group from Algorithmic Trading Group to Algorithmic Therapy Group. They were mad at me, boy, I'll tell you that. They were
Yeah,
throwing pens at me, balls of paper. They were so mad. I said, if I had a magic indicator that told me what a stock was going to do tomorrow, I'd be richer than Warren Buffett. The fact
true.
is, it doesn't exist. You can't predict anything. Forget it. But you can do proper money management to make sure you're always in the game trading, taking money, no matter where the price goes. That
True.
is doable. So that's
Hey, Ed,
what I'm doing
let me
here is
mention
no
a
different. Oh, pardon me?
Sorry, let me just mention a couple of administrative things I forgot to mention at the very beginning. I think I mentioned this, if we don't get to your question, please do either join us next week or any week for that matter, or just put it in an email to us and we'll certainly address it. We've got a whole bunch of questions in the queue, and I don't think we're going to be able to get through them all. No
We have
disrespect.
time. Let's go
No,
for it. Let's just let's bang through them.
no.
Well, I mean, if they're, I'm not talking about support kind of questions, but, questions that if someone's questioning, can this be real or whatever,
Yeah,
are there
of
any of
course.
those kind of questions? I love to answer those.
No, so they're all, some of them are semi-technical. For example, Anthony says, is 25 max lots per, now that I read this, no, it's not reasonable. It's 25 max lots per day with 5 coins with $5,000 wallet reasonable?
No, because if the market drops 20% in one day and you're adding on 3%
Run out of
drop,
money.
you're going to use up a lot of your money right away. Whereas the software, if you go with the defaults, it's only going to let it buy 2 lots in a day in a bad day if it's just going down, down. And then it'll stop. And then the next day it could buy 2. But if it's not closing positions at all and it's just buying, it'll actually cut that number in half to 1 lot a day. It might only buy a position 1 time, even if the coin dropped 20%. It's only going to buy it 1 time on that day. If I'm not closing positions, the software is designed to automatically slow down the buy-in in a crashing market. Okay, it'll increase the buy-in if the prices are going higher and you're closing positions profitably. Then it'll let it buy like crazy. You could buy and sell 20 times in a day in a market that's moving a lot. But if it's just going straight down, the software is going to slow down the buy-in. You want to be able to trade in perpetuity. And that proper money management is the most important thing. It's so critical. It's risk management. And you never want to be all in. Everybody that's all in is just gambling. All these buy and holders out there that are just jumping in and buying coins and sitting on them, dead money. It's like buying a silver dollar and throwing it in a drawer. Silver is going up and down. Like yesterday, silver was up 73 cents, which is beautiful. That's all you need is you could be trading on 2% moves up and down. The symbol SLV in the stock market, raking profit out of the market almost, multiple times a week with silver. Instead of sitting on a silver dollar in a drawer watching the price of silver going up and down, you're not making any money. It's just sitting in the drawer, So, but I'm telling you, people here, I presented all over. One time somebody told me, Ed, I've been to 4 of your events, live events in Florida. And because I presented Miami, West Palm Beach, Orlando, Tampa Bay, Sarasota. I mean, I presented all over that state and all over all these states, Midwest, Kansas, and you name it. I've been there, Oklahoma, and but the gentleman said I've been to 4 of your events and watch you talk up there. And I learn different stuff every time you talk. How come you don't just have a nice, clean presentation where you just say it all? Well, number one, I'm standing up there with no notes. And it's interactive. So what are people saying and what am I responding to and how much education can I give you, I can't teach what's not in your DNA already. See, this is all in my DNA. So and there's 1,000 different things. So I try to say enough to educate you enough so you understand how the market works. Sometimes my wife says, boy, a developer listening to you literally tell them how to develop a whole system. Yeah, if you're a programmer, yeah, you could do it. I mean, but you're 25 years behind where I'm at because I've been building on this stuff for 25 years and I filter out all the bad stuff. Someone even made a comment to me one time. He said, you told us all this good stuff, just like we did today. We told you all the good stuff, but you notice we did throw in a lot of bad stuff. We told you stuff that you could be doing wrong and how the software tries to, mitigate that. But he said, you're always telling us all the good stuff. How about telling us what's bad? What is the bad stuff about this trader? What are my risks here with this trader? Wouldn't that be a valid question right now? Doesn't everybody wonder, what are the bad things? What if I do sign up? What can I lose? Well, right off the bat, you could lose $3,500 for the fee that you paid. All right, if the world blew up. You know, there you lost. The worst that could happen there, you're not going to lose all your money because you're not, the auto trader's not touching all your money. The software can only send orders to your broker. It can't transfer anything out of your account. You know, like a bank account or a brokerage account, a stock brokerage account like TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, MB Trading, Robinhood. They can't steal your money on your stocks, but in the crypto market, people can transfer stuff out of your account. Now we help with the security. See, we hadn't talked about that at all. We actually help with the security in your Coinbase and Kraken account to tighten up your account to prevent people from transferring coins out of your account. That alone is worth 3,500. I mean, you could, you know, if somebody steals all your Bitcoin, you could be out 100,000 like that. If somebody stole one of your Bitcoin, so $3,500 just to help you with your security is worth its weight in gold, and on top of all the money that it's going to help you make. So there's really nothing, you know, there's all pluses when it comes to the trader. There's really, because any bad stuff through the years that we learned, you know, like I said, you know, someone said, you know, Attila mentioned that I had, my original auto trader had 10 screens of settings, the things you could change. And I called it 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up. Because people were changing numbers and settings everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, why would he even touch that number? Why would he ever touch that number? That setting is there for that one rule. And I know darn well, like in the auto trader, you can't turn off the AI. There's a setting that says AI, enable or disable. It's enabled, and I don't let you disable it because there's no way AI can harm you in any way. There's no purpose in the world to turn off the AI. So I don't even let you turn that off. See, but there's a lot of other settings that you could change if you want to, but 99% of people don't change the settings. They just go with same settings I'm using, same settings Edward's using, same settings Attila's using. I mean, 99% of our clients don't touch the settings at all. So there's, you know, and I'll get a new subscriber and I'll look and it's like, wow, he changed every number on that screen. Why would he do that? I don't know what he's thinking, you know, because the auto trader is going to respond, is going to do what you're telling it. You know, why would you tell it to do something crazy? But, you know, people think the market's just random and a gamble, but it's not a gamble. It's when you do it right, it's precision money, easy money.
It is. So Will says, is it best to start with a separate portfolio for GoBabyTrade, as well as only transfer in funds to trade and pick the coins within the trader and not transfer from the default portfolio in Coinbase? All right, so let me unpack that, Will. So when you not necessarily, I'll say that. So you can start, you can employ the trader, connect the trader, and when you put the coins in there, let's say you have Alchemy Pay, ACH, in your account before you connect your trader, and you want to trade Alchemy Pay once you connect the trader, right? If it's in your account and you connect it and tell it to trade it, the trader is going to suck it in. However, if you have 10 random coins, whatever they are, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever the case may be, and you tell the trader to trade the defaults, which are not the ones that are in your account, it's not going to see those. It will only,
you're going to ignore the coins that you didn't
right,
tell. It's only going to trade the coins you told it to trade.
right. So there's not a problem with the theory of starting a separate clean account that you can then fund and track only what the trader is doing, but it's really not necessary. When excuse me, since it only sends buy and sell orders, all the action, all of the trades are visible in your Coinbase or Kraken account, period. So if you feel it's cleaner to keep track of, then sure, just open up a different either Kraken or Coinbase account, connect the trader and let it go. Not necessary, not mandatory.
Right. But in Coinbase, you can create, if you go to the Coinbase Advanced in the lower left screen of your Coinbase account, you can actually switch to Coinbase Advanced and create a portfolio, a separate portfolio. And you can either set that portfolio for GoBabyTrade and just put USDC in that portfolio. And then when you create the API connection, you point it at that portfolio. And then that's all GoBabyTrade sees. So it'll only trade the funds that are in there. in
Right.
any coins you have in there. Or you can do it the other way. You can create the portfolio and just put all the stuff you want to do in that portfolio, and the auto trader won't see what's in the portfolio and change and let your API keys just talk to the default portfolio and let it trade what's in the default. So you can do it either way, you know.
Lots of
So you don't
options,
have to
lots
have
of
a
options.
separate Coinbase account, just open up a separate portfolio.
Right, right. That
Um,
makes sense. So Russ and Luann, yes, the trader. If you uncheck the buy box, it will continue to sell. When the position that you hold is profitable, it will sell that off. So that's not a problem. But I think this was maybe before we got into the nuts and bolts of your earlier questions. But I would certainly make an appointment with Ed and his team, and they can review, help you whittle down and make some logical decisions on how you want to consolidate so
Sure.
your trader is maximized. So
Most
um,
people just sign up. A lot of people don't have anything. They fund their account. They put some money in there, USD or USDC, turn on the auto trader, pick the coins. They're done. And you're up and running in a few minutes.
yeah, Ken says, will you see important questions in the Q&A? Yes, we review all the questions, even if we're not able to get to all of them. Usually we do. We've got a handful left. But my suggestion is if we don't get to your question, please do send us an email. We certainly wanted to answer it in detail. Sometimes it's just not possible on the webinar.
We do have a few more minutes because I still have a little bit of smart water to drink. I've been tasting it.
All right. Your technical support person told me that the trader couldn't become overloaded and stop trading. Well, that's true. Yeah, there's no way. I mean, whether you get 50 coins or 150 coins, it's certainly not the optimal for the trader. But the trader won't stop trading, right? There have
Oh
been over the
yeah.
last couple weeks, have been
I mean,
a
the auto
couple of
traders, man, you couldn't put a dent in that. I
yeah.
mean, when you say overloaded, are you talking about like trading with a real lot of coins? It's the auto
Well,
trader's running like the bunny,
well,
ever ready bunny rabbit.
yeah. I
The
think
actual
sorry. Good.
what I
I
was
think I
what I
think
was gonna
I,
say
I
is,
think
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that it may be referencing a couple people over the last 2 weeks have put in that they were having trouble logging into the trader when you were doing the big security update, and that's that's
Oh,
what happened. The trader didn't stop. It was still making you money and trading in the background, but there was an extra
that was
error
just an update that took a little
right,
longer than I thought it was gonna take. That's
right,
all.
right.
Very rare
Yep.
scenario.
Yeah.
But you know, the auto trader is never, like I was saying, the auto trader, the way I've architected it for your developers, if you will, you want to hear this, the auto trader's job, the auto trader only has to sit there and look for buy and sell decisions based on when's the last time you bought it. You bought a
Right.
coin here and it knows it's got to go up here to sell it, or it's got to go down here to buy more. That's all the auto trader is concentrating on. Did I reach a threshold? Am I buying or am I selling? What's going on with the price of the coin right now? Let's go. And it's running 1,000,000 miles an hour inside there. Now, but all the other stuff, the data feeds and the AI, and there's so much more. Those are all separate programs in the co-location center inside our infrastructure that are all feeding the auto trader. So all that dirty work, all that heavy lifting of the programming and all the going to the internet, getting the data, multiple data feeds, you know, all that reconciliation and stuff, that's all happening separate from your auto trader, which makes your auto trader super efficient. And so it doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff. The information is just there. It can just use it without having to generate it. Whereas my old auto trader, the old system that Attila was talking about from 2005 to 2012, all the way until I rewrote the software and released the new version that's web based in 2020, and then 2021 for crypto. But the old system was downloadable software. All that stuff, the AI and everything, was actually running on your computer at home, on your laptop or your desktop. And that was the biggest criticisms I was getting is this software is dragging on I can't even go into email while this thing's running. because it was just using
Well-
up all the resources on that computer, man. And that's
Worry
why
no more.
so I
Worry no
sold
more.
that company.
Yeah, your computer doesn't even have to run now, and you
Yeah,
could be
it,
off email, your computer can crash, your account's still making money. So
so I sold that company off in 2012, sold that software off to a huge hedge fund. You guys can have it. It's great for you. I rewrote it to be web-based. So now you sign up. All you have to go to is an internet, sign up. You got your account, you're done. You can check how your account's doing anytime you want on your cell phone, with Safari or any browser. You can run this, you can log in with your Mac or your PC or whatever. Doesn't matter as long as you can get to the internet. And the software is actually running, your trader is running 24/7, 366 days a year, as Edward puts it, on my servers.
That's right.
And they're
That's
flying,
right.
man.
That's
And I've got racks of servers. That's what caught me off guard with that update when I did it. That security update I did. I didn't the server that I was doing the update on. I'm gonna share this real fast because it's kind of dumb. It was Sunday night last week, and remotely I was doing an update on a security update. And usually I just take it easy. I could do them. I could do multiple servers. Just don't reboot them because once it takes place, the whole system, all the servers got to be ready for that. And I didn't notice one of the new servers that I'd put in there. It didn't have the Windows update. I usually turn off the automatic Windows updates because that'll cause a reboot. See, and when I was doing that security update, that server rebooted. And I'm 5 hours away from the co-location center, and I said, "Did that server just reboot?" Because now I got to update all those servers right now. So you know what I
Well,
did is I hit the power off on all the servers. I just stopped. And then
well,
I drove
the
for
good
5 hours, and we just spent the
the,
next hours, updating them all. And it's a very rare scenario that never happens in 25 years. That never happened. So it really wasn't a
so
big deal. People thought, did you get hacked or whatever? No, nothing like that.
right. No. That can't happen because it's an intranet. It doesn't have to go outside.
Yeah,
It all comes from within. So free Frank says when Ed's water runs out, the Zoom call disconnects.
it's gone.
Don't
I'm
drink.
done.
Uh-oh. No. All right, we're getting close to the end. Let me
Not
take a
only am
couple
I
more.
done, but I'm getting thirsty and I don't have any. It's
Very
okay.
good. So Anthony's asking, can you please explain the trading window option in the settings?
Well, the trading window is very simple math. You can think about this. If you're adding on 3% drops, each time a coin drops 3%, buy another one. If it goes lower, 3% drop, add another one. If it goes lower, 3%, add another one, right? Now you're buying and selling in the meantime, but if it's just going lower, 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 you're going to add on 3% drops, the default is 25 times. 25 toll booths, if you will, all the way to the bottom. To a 3 times 25, 3% times 25 times buying is a 75% trading window. That covers you down to a 75% drop in the price. As long as that price stays from the first buy, it stays within that 75% trading, I call that the trading window. No matter where it goes within there, you're always buying and selling in perpetuity. No matter where it goes, you're always buying and selling as long as it stays within that window. Now, should it drop below the 75% drop, if the coin price dropped more than 75%, then that means it will have used up all the money because it squeezed all the money into that trading window, that 75% window. That means you would be a buy and holder for a little while until the price went back up into there to your last purchase, which would be all the way down here. And then you can start buying and selling again because you'll be back up there. But so if it goes lower, that's when you go ahead and change the settings from 25 lots deep to 30 lots deep. 3% drops times 30 gives you 3 times 30 is a 90% trading window. It increased your trading window 15%. So you could trade further down all the way to a 90% drop. However, where do you get the money if a coin dropped below the 75%? Because it put all your money in play up here. Now, all your profits, if you did it right, and you left the default save 100% of your profits, are all sitting there in a save bucket. All those profits it made while it was going down and before it dropped 75%, all that money should be sitting there on a sideline. You can release some of that money to the trader to allow it to have excess money to use to trade that extra 15% down. Now it's frustrating for me because, and here's where, now you want to hear the bad stuff. Some things, I know it makes sense. Thank you, Anthony. Some people though, however, they're eager to get all their money in right away. They're just taught that, you know, they don't realize that even though it's not making a lot each trade, you're still on pace to do that 100% a year, right? So they're eager to get all their money in because they think that's going to make them more money. And what they do is they end up changing the trading window. They go 3% drops times 10 lots instead of the default 25. So 3 times 10 is only a 30% trading window. So all their money gets squeezed up into that 30% window instead of into the 75% window, which would take them all the way down here. They run out of money up here. So when in the last month or two, when the market dropped, when the prices went down more than 50%, what happened to those guys? They ran out of money because all their money got squeezed into that because they were eager to get all their money squeezed in up here at the top. So when it went down here, once it broke over that, over above the or below the 30% drop, they ran out of money. So then they say, hey Ed, how come my auto trader's not buying more? Well, the coin price is all the way down here. It's not up there. It's down here now. You're waiting for it to go back up here so you could start selling the ones the last lot you bought, which you only bought when it was down 30%. Now it's down 50%. You got a 20% gap here and you can't buy more because you ran out of money. So then I say, okay, well, we can raise it to increase the trading window. But then when I go to their saved money that they had in the saved profits, right? The default was save 100%. What do you think I discovered? They had changed the settings, the saved profits, they changed it, percent of profits to save to 0. And I'm like, you didn't save any money. You just used up all, you really used up all your, even all your profits that were supposed to be going into a save bucket. You were just telling the auto trader, use all my profits too. I want all my profits going into that 30% window. So then they really ran out of money. And then they really have to wait until it goes back up 20% before the auto trader will trade again, or throw more money into the account, or sell some of that Bitcoin that's just sitting around moving, not moving anyways. And you could free up money that way.
Or
But
don't change
basically,
or
if you
don't
don't
change the
change the
default settings.
settings, pardon me?
Or
In other
don't
words,
change the
don't change the
default settings.
settings.
That's right.
In other words, don't
That's
change
right.
the settings. You're
That's
better
right.
off.
All right. We got a couple more, we got a couple more questions. Joe says, actually, this is an interesting ponder. If we select the coins that are on the highest trade count report, isn't it highly possible that they'll drop way down the list and we'll get stuck with many down positions forever? So even if the coins don't go out of business, what's the security that the capital isn't greatly at risk from coins going down and staying down? Well, actually, I'll comment on this, and Ed, if you want to jump in. So the reason why Mr., as I call him, Mr. Kaizen, continuous improvement, if you know that from Toyota made it really popular. Ed and his team are constantly improving, constantly improving, constantly improving. As I made comments, the first iteration of the $1 billion report, when I called it the $1 million report, it didn't have nearly the information on it that it does now. But as it's expanded, it's looking over an 8-month period, and that's why Ed was articulating some of the positions where there were some very, very high months, and then there were some very, very low months, right? It's not that it's a magic report, and it gives you the opportunity to research it out. If you pick Attila said it, I'm sorry he's not here to reiterate it. If you pick good quality projects, which if you notice the second column, brand new, is what is it? Is it utility? Is it a meme coin? Utility means it does something in the marketplace, this very, very, very virgin marketplace that is constantly improving. Anything that's marked a utility is adding value to what the market is doing as it grows. If you pick those coins, yes, there's no guarantee, Joe, or anybody. There's no guarantee that it's going to be trading, 200 this month or 200 last month, whatever the case may be, and then it drops off drops off the edge. I personally have not witnessed that. I don't think Ed Barsano
No.
has as well, but there's no guarantees.
Well,
This
you
is
know,
all information that refines it down to logical, the logical decision making based on your research. But
it's
again,
just,
there's no guarantee.
let me reiterate my take on it. I'm driving and I found a nice shortcut that I normally drive. We always take the same route, right? Aren't we a creature of that habit? We
Habit,
figure
right.
out what's the shortcut to Trader Joe's, what's the fastest way to get to Whole Foods, right? And so one day I'm driving along, I am retired, right? Hey, I'm out there any hour of the day, right? And I'm not really looking at the time. See, I'm very foolish. I should be smart and not go to the stores after everybody else is off work because the stores are crowded. If I go in the morning, there's nobody there except us retired folks, right?
Right.
So anyways, so I'm always going down this one shortcut road that I'm always taking, and everything is beautiful, man. I fly through there, man. Well, one day I'm going down there at 3:30 in the afternoon, right when the high school let out. Well, who knew? I knew I passed up that high school every day. I never thought about it. There was a million kids out there. And there's no stop. I mean, I got a stop sign. It's a stop sign intersection, a four-way stop sign, and the kids, they don't even care that we're hey, I stopped. I did my stop for the other cars, but these kids don't care. They're flowing out there and they don't even care that they have no courtesy whatsoever. None whatsoever. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. The arrogance of these kids. They're walking there with their cell phones, looking down, just like they're on a high, just clugging up the road. I sat there an hour just by the time I finally got up there, I could not believe that these kids are not going to stop to let the cars go at all. So you learn, right? So I'm just saying that it's the same thing with a stock. That's a coin. I mean, it's just the real world. A coin could go, they could get sued by the government and anything can happen. But the worst, but your auto trader has only put your toe in the water each time. And the longer that coin stays in business, the more profit you're going to keep racking up and saving. So in my case, you saw my trader, Alchemy Pay. I started buying it at 12 cents a share 3 years ago in October of 21. It dropped all the way to 1.5 cents. Wouldn't that be considered a major thing? Isn't that based on your question, wouldn't that be a disaster? But I took 300,000 in profits while it was going down. My open inventory is only down 71,000. They can't take that 330,000 that I've already taken in profits while it was going down away from me. So the $1 billion report on the right side, it shows you monthly how many trades it would have done last year. I can't talk about this year. I can only speculate. If it did 90 trades on average each month last year, I'm hoping it'll continue doing that. Versus the coins at the bottom of the report that are doing 2 trades on average each month, I'm expecting it to continue just doing that. Which one would I rather trade? The one with the 90 trades a month or the one with the 2 trades a month? I'm going with the one with the 90. It's the best we can do. I mean, we really don't have more to offer than that. I can't guarantee anything, but I can guarantee the longer you keep trading, the more. Remember what I said about the jelly jar? Keep throwing those marbles in there and watch that thing spill over. It's real money. It's got to go somewhere, and it's going into your account. That's where it's going. So don't worry. I mean, in the long run, don't even worry about it, man. This is a money machine that will never stop. Just like everybody trusts the bucket in the well. The water, bucket goes down, gets the water, goes back up. How much will it pump if you keep doing that for a lifetime? Oh, billions of gallons. How much money will you make in the market if it just keeps wiggling the coin? Same answer. It's just
Same
going to
answer,
keep
right?
cranking out
Yeah,
money forever.
yeah.
It's not
My
magic.
comment.
It's not as hard as people are making it out to be.
No, my closing comment on that one is pick good quality projects and trade them forever. If you're looking at this trader and this opportunity as the opportunity that's going to retire you tomorrow or next year, don't look at it that way. Look at it as a consistent, mitigated risk
It's a
that
life
allows
trader.
you that
It's a
allows you
life
to make
trader
Right. That allows you to make money over your lifetime. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Versus,
It's better than handing your money to somebody else and telling them to go do something with it and then watch them lose it.
or quite frankly, yeah, right. Invest in a project that's out of your control. This is 100% in your control. Or quite frankly, the opposite of that argument is if you leave it in the bank in traditional finance, you're between as quickly as the government's printing money and inflation, you're looking at if you're not making 20% somewhere a year on your money, then you're just going broke really slow. So we can only take you so far. But everybody that owns the trader seems to be pretty happy about it. Corey's paying close attention to changes and improvements you're making in the background. Says do not close lots when that will be automatically reopened. Was the default enabled? Now is default disabled? And
Yes,
what are the
it's disabled.
settings of the paper trader showed? So that's a universal setting that I'm assuming that you improved in the background, because why would you close a position?
I
Why
changed
would
it
you
to
close a
default.
position?
I changed it to
Right.
disable.
Right. So
Because
there's no reason, if it sells a lot, there's no reason why it would buy it right back. So we talked about that in previous sessions, and that's why Mr.
it's a
Barsano chose
it's a setting I'm phasing out. I'm gonna get rid of it because it was a very valuable setting in the stock market. When a coin goes, when you sell, people would ask me, where did my profits go? And I'm like, well, technically you didn't have any profits the way it was trading, because as soon as you sold it, it bought it right back. So the auto trader though is a different ball game, because the way the coins jump around, it is wise to just, if the AI doesn't say it's going to continue going higher, take the profit and don't worry about even if it's going to buy it right back. Don't worry about that. Just in the long run, you're better off just leave it off. But like I said, over the years, I learned more. Like I reduced this thing to one screen of settings after having hundreds of settings before. And made it tighter and tighter. As I get smarter, the trader gets smarter, and I get feedback from people, constant feedback.
Right.
And that amazed people for years, that I would actually listen to their feedback and do stuff with it. That's what I didn't like about my old system, is I had 40 support people, and a lot of times feedback wasn't making it to me. Now that I don't need all that, because it's not downloadable software, there's no very little support needed. I know every question, every issue that anyone ever has, and I can improve the software because I know it.
Right.
We
Here's
don't
a
ignore
softball for
anything.
you. No, we don't. Here's a softball for you. Anthony says, can you please demonstrate, Mr. Barsano, not Edward, Mr. Barsano. Can you please demonstrate how to change the take profit settings to invest all the profits into the trader rather than keeping 100%? That's an easy one. You want to share your screen?
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
See, now that is a case of where you're eager to get in. You want more of your money investing. You're talking about this managed profits down here in the lower left.
That's correct.
Okay, hold on one second. I gotta do this. My machine timed out. Okay, so here it is here. I'm gonna go to manage profits. The default is to save 100% of the profits. And this is a critical thing. A lot of people think, well, I want it to compound earnings and get more in there. And again, what you're doing is you're causing it to get more in at bad times. But in any case, we save 100% of the profits. If you want it, some people have it set to 50%. They'll do this and they'll say, save 50% of my profits. So if you made $10 on a trade, $5 would go into the save bucket down here, and the other 5 would be released to the auto trader to let it use it. I can, like, say I wanted to, and now that's how it runs when the auto trader's running and it's making trades and it's taking profits. But once the money's in your save bucket down here, say I want to release $10,000 of this to the auto trader, I can just go in here and click edit and put minus 10,000. It's even telling me amount in profit save bucket after you click save. If I click save, it's going to reduce that number by 10,000 to 23,713. Boom, there it is. Now I can actually put more money in because last week I took 100,000. I reduced it by 100,000. You see in here right there, I reduced it by 100 or below that one. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put 110,000 back in that I took out. I'm going to say plus 110000 to get that back to, that's what I want to save. So I just took literally 110,000 out of the trade bucket, which allowed the auto trader to use it, and I put it back into the save bucket so the auto trader won't use that money. So that's how it works.
Very good. Very good. Okay, excellent. Let's see, Robert says, what's the highest trade count report assumptions? Add profit at 3% or something else?
What do you mean by assumptions?
Well, what generates the report? And I think the question or the answer of the question may be.
Oh, you mean the highest trade count report?
Yes.
That one is 2% right now. I'm changing it to 3. I'm working on it, but it's a real huge report that takes days to run. And so I'm working on getting it because each month I only have to do 1 month to expand it and going forward. But if I have to change, if I change that number from 2% to 3%, I got to redo the whole year, and that's going to take a long time to run and a lot
But
of.
if you change it to 3% going forward, then the trailing will catch up to the 3% months.
Well, you can't mix it though. That's the problem. It doesn't work. So it doesn't work like you're thinking. So the problem is, the thing is, I should say, it's not the numbers aren't important as much as the rank. This 1 and 2. You know, the numbers don't have to be precise. We just want the biggest number. So whether they all increase or they all decrease, in together, you know, all at the same time. Say this guy here drops to 78 if we change the percent, or if it goes to 108. They're all going to move, they're all going to go up or down appropriately. You know, in any case, I don't think that's going to change. It's not going to change the rank. It's just going to change these numbers. So, and I really, all I care about is giving me the top dogs and the ones that have consistent, numbers every month across the board.
Consistent trades over time.
Yeah,
right.
That's what's
we're down
this
to
is what's going to
Ed,
make you rich. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right. No. I was just going to say we're down to Thomas. Thomas has 2 questions, but the same, essentially the same question. Said, Ed, I'm basically using the default settings on my trader. Not sure why I have only been doing 1/3 to 1/2 of the monthly trade counts listed on the $1 billion trade counter. What could cause this?
It doesn't matter what the
Okay.
trade. This is a 1-year report. Remember that. And also the market has changed over the last couple months. Remember what I said? The coins have slowed down. And you know, like this, like here, look in January, this guy did 645 trades. It only did 34 trades in the month of May. See, it's not just your trader that slowed down, it's the entire market has slowed down. So don't compare it like that. So you can't, because the whole market is changing. The wealthy, and then you can be like me, speculate. Why would that be? We had a crypto summit at the White House a few months ago with 25 billionaires in the room, all these rich people trading that are just loaded up with crypto. And then Trump tells them, we are going to give you carte blanche to change the rules to enable that crypto market to fly. Don't you think those 25 people want to make that happen? Because they're going to get rich beyond belief if they can do that.
Yeah.
So what do you think happens when they drop? All of a sudden, the market starts crashing instead of going up. It's because the wealthy, they're all in it together. These guys you're only looking at 25 guys. How many people are they talking to? Are their friends and all that? They all want to get rich. So they're like, And I don't know how to do it, all right? Not my job to figure out how they can lower prices and stuff like that. I know it's not Joe Public making a price go up or up 5% or down 5% in a day. So the rich know how to play with the market and drive those prices lower. And when they drive the prices lower, the public panics and sells out at a loss. Who do you think's buying those shares up? The rich. That's my speculation. It's just a gamble. It's just a guess. Okay. But I've been watching them for 25 years. I know the game they're playing. I watch them do it over and over. So they're loading up at the bottom prices, and so are we with our auto traders. Now they are not day traders. So what they're doing is they're loading up and just holding those shares that they bought at the higher prices as it was going lower. We, on the other hand, are buying and selling, taking our profits along the way. We're actually going to make 10 times more than what they're going to make on a percentage basis, because we're turning our inventory. We're already making 100% return while the coins are still at the bottom. They got to wait for it to
Right.
double from where they bought it for it to get up 100%. So we're
And
way
all that
ahead of them.
all that seasoned inventory that the people that own the traders are holding when the market takes, just like your example in January, February, when it went up 250% in a day. Anybody that owns
Yes,
inventory at these prices is going to do very, very well.
we
So,
clean up. And that's what
yep.
I'm saying. They can never take these profits away from us, the closed positions. If you saved your profits, if you have your profits set to zero, then you're taking the profits as they come in and you're just throwing it back into the trader and saying use it. And then it's buying more shares at the higher prices, but then you're not saving anything on the side for what if it's going lower? What are you going to do down here? On the other hand, I can go in here and I can release funds to the auto trader. I can release I have a big bucket of money that I can release to the trader whenever
so,
I want. When the
so
prices even
Ed,
get lower. If I want to release 100,000 more to the trader, I can do that.
Mr. Barsano,
Yes.
we have run out of questions, at least for now. But
All right.
Free says the whales are feeding. That is exactly what's happening. So
Oh, I didn't even notice what the market was doing. Did you see what the market was doing? I didn't
oh,
even notice.
the market that they've been hammering the market
Oh,
over the
look at
last
this.
couple of
No,
days.
we're moving now. You know, look at
It's
ACH.
starting to okay.
Up 5.37% today. It started out negative today. So yeah, and
So
these
like
other ones hardly moved. See, days
right.
like this where a coin has only moved 0.5% or 0.24% or 0.58%, you'd be surprised how many people want to make something happen. It's like you can't make anything happen if the coins aren't moving. Relax. Quit thinking that there's something wrong with the auto trader or something wrong with anything. If the market, if the prices, if you buy a coin at 17 cents and the price is still at 17 cents by the end of the day and it hasn't moved, then there's nothing to do but sit and wait. You can't make the market move. And
No, but
that's and I say
it
that because a lot of people out there, and maybe some of you that are, if you're still around, we've been talking for a few hours, but a lot of people leave. But if you're some of you are under the impression that why isn't my auto trader trading today? Look what today is. What's the date? Today's the 18th. Look at over here. My auto trader hasn't made a trade all day today, not one. It hasn't bought anything, it hasn't sold anything. Even though the ACH is up 5.49%, let's hit plus on this thing and see where I stand. Well, I'm only up 1.86% on since my last purchase. Since I bought this lot here, I'm only up 1.86. Until that goes up 5% or 3%, I'm not going to be taking profit. However, I can click on this, close this lot right now if I want, and lock in that $121 of profit if I want to click it and do it. But I'm not going to do it. There is not one manual trade in my system. And I don't manually trade. Let the auto trader do it. The auto trader is going to squeeze out as much money as it can at the right times.
and
And
it will position you. It will position you as they've been manipulating this market down. The trader knows it is way smarter than any human. It's going to position you to take profits literally for the rest of your life. Period.
yeah.
With
And I'm going
that,
to tell you, we have clients. I've got family members of other, not my, all of my family, all my family is in though, but I mean, some families have like 14 kids in their families. They're all running auto traders. Husband, wife, 6 kids, you know, everybody's got auto traders, you know. This is the one place you can park your money and watch it grow all by itself. It's like having a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar. And I see
True.
people doing it, you know, money, wherever they can find money, they're throwing it into their trader, trying to, because this is the place to park your money and watch it grow by itself, as opposed to letting it sit in a bank account where you get nothing.
Or
Or
you're not
under
only
your
getting
bed.
nothing, or losing money, right? You can't, the history of this trader, you cannot argue with the success.
Let me
So,
tell you
Mr.
this.
Barsano,
2 weeks ago, this account was at 900,000. The account value was at 900,000. It's at 842,000. Do you think I'm sitting here just going, "Oh my God, I lost 150,000"? Or no, 900. So it's down 50 grand. All right. I don't feel that way at all. You know why? Because that's the price of the coins dropped. And I'm like, I'm not worried about this one here, because a couple months ago, ACH, see that 1-1 right there? 0.00011. That was at 0.00033 a few months ago.
right?
GRT was at like 18 cents a share. Now it's at 8 cents. They can jerk around and lower the prices on us. And that's why I got all this extra inventory that it's sitting on now that it bought while it was going down. I'm not worried about it, because all that, as soon as the prices start going up again, I start selling it off. In the meantime, look at that GRT right there. Profit. That was $776 while it's going down. I can scroll down a little further. I can just see right on the screen. There's another close right there. Another GRT close on the 14th. Another 745. And you know, it's just, they can't stop me from taking money no matter where they put the prices. And all that money keeps this P&L here, the closed positions P&L. This number is going to keep going up and up and up. Eventually this will be $1 million sitting in the closed bucket, and there's nothing they can do to stop me. It's almost seems like this whole thing should be illegal, what I'm doing, but I'm not cheating. I mean, it's, you know, we're not doing anything wrong. You know,
Nope,
if
it's
you're running a
all
grocery
legal.
store, you put product on the shelf that you buy something for one price, you put it on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. That's how it's been done for thousands of years. We're not doing anything wrong. The only thing we're doing differently than everybody else is we're doing proper money management, proper
That is
risk
true.
management that the software is doing. That puts us in a position where no matter where the price goes, we got them in that little window, that box. They can't move the price up or down without giving us money. And that money adds up for life. So anyways, I love my traders. I'll do this till I die. And
Mr.
then, you
Barsano,
know,
take a breath. Take a breath.
I'm
So,
out of water. I'm thirsty.
so with that, thank you again for joining us. Thank you everybody that has joined us tonight. Some of you obviously have had to go, but we appreciate everybody. If you want to join us, you can join us every single week. If you have questions, please do put them into an email. Again, I only posted it once, but I'm going to post it just before we say goodbye. I'm going to post Crypto Casey. Thank you to Crypto Casey for properly educating all of her fans. And
And thank you, Crypto Casey, for letting me talk to your audience. I appreciate it.
yeah, we all get to serve. So, Ed, thank you very much. Thank you to Attila, who left us an hour ago. He's going to be disappointed that he wasn't here for your final words, but we'll see you
Go
again next
Navy.
week. Yeah, go Navy. Cheers. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.